The Waverly Hills Sanitarium in Kentucky has been condemned since the early 60s, though the spirits of its former inhabitants are thought to still roam its rubble-filled halls. Lindsay Rogers leads a ghost hunting team through the dark asylum, and it isn't long before they are engulfed by paranormal activity. What the? It sounds like a door opens, and you can see Lindsay looks right, but the door is still shut. There's a second banging noise that almost sounds like a body hitting the ground. Though without more video footage, we'll never know for sure. An encounter with a mysterious, pale figure in the forest. What could go wrong? Published by F2 Fun Facts YT. This cameraman arrives at a cement well that may be home to a madman. Peering down into it, he only sees darkness, but then he pulls back and casts the camera over his surroundings. In a corner near another cement structure, a pale figure is crouched. The figure looks human but keeps very still. That is, until it suddenly springs up, turns around and launches at the cameraman. Its movements are incredibly agile, almost superhuman, and its skin is inhumanely pale. Does it live in the well? Needless to say, the cameraman flees, leaving us to wonder if the creature was human or something else.
Alright, just like a quick check-in. Okay, let's see. Okay, it's doing it.
A TikTok video made by Kristen Parham has people wondering if she needs to call an exorcist or an electrician.
I'm not making this up. They're flickering again.
Some of the lights look brighter and flicker. It could be loose light bulbs rather than the spirit world. But the weird thing is sometimes they do this, sometimes they don't. If you are an electrician, then let us know in your professional opinion whether she's being dramatic or if the worst is yet to come. While camping in a haunted forest at night, YouTuber Jasko experiences a paranormal microaggression. Just watch.
Can you come closer to us and like let us know? Oh, what the dude, what the just happened?
Whatever is in that dark forest, listen to Jasko's request and then some.
Let us know. Oh, what the
That looked really legit to me, especially due to the fact that he's holding his cell phone, which could have been water damaged. Who would risk it? Not many people can say they've been roughed up by a demon, but I think Jasko can. Number 20. A kid feels suddenly and inexplicably watched from the front door. He looks through the peephole and can't believe what he sees. He grabs his phone to show us that his apartment is haunted by a ghost. It looks like something scary is peeking at him from around the corner. It's creepy beyond belief, but look at this bright fluorescent light. I think he's using the light to bend a basic lens flare into the appearance of a figure. If so, then this video could help explain how a lot of other supposed ghost sightings were really just tricks of light caught on camera. But if that's not the case, then I have no explanation for what he managed to record that night. What lurks in your alley in the middle of the night? This video may surprise you. Published to YouTube by Tasklock in March of 2021, the security footage was recorded on the 30th of December 2020 at around 4 in the morning. An empty road with a few motorcycles and bicycles parked along each side, still in the darkness, at least for the moment. Suddenly, someone invisible decides to take this bike out for a spin. The motorcycle abruptly pulls out into the road, turning in place. At one point, it slows in its turning, then jerks forward and continues in its path before falling over on the side in the middle of the road. Could this just be something mechanical malfunctioning in the bike, or did a ghost realize he didn't have enough momentum mid-launch? While visiting a friend at a high school, these girls spotted strange flickering light inside, writing that it was flashing in a pattern. Posted by replied Babe It's Manda to the Ghosts subreddit. The Redditor notes that this is the boys and the girls' locker rooms. Only the boys was acting up earlier, and now they're both flickering. Some suggest it's a rave, others think it may just be faulty wiring, or the fire alarm being tested. But MTN Do 891 finds something else particularly unsettling. He writes, "Why do the locker rooms have windows so large and close to the ground? That's what I find creepy." That's a good point, so maybe their story is not what's actually going on here. Nevertheless, this either had to be a major electrical malfunction, or else the work of something paranormal. I just wish there was more video evidence so we could decide for sure. Imagine this in the middle of the forest.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
That's what YouTube team Ghost Theory heard in these haunted woods during a paranormal investigation, and apparently it knows something.
Come and touch the device if you know anything about the girl that was...
A second question results in more mysterious answers.
If what that girl was not a person.
And then another unfortunate one.
Is that a skinwalker?
And finally, they hear it.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
I'd be out of there too. I have no idea what a skinwalker sounds like, but to me, that did not sound animal, nor did it sound human. Did this YouTuber capture skinwalkers in a screaming match? While wandering through Gila National Forest, mysterious wailing echoed all around him.
Very.
As the cameraman stood waiting, he heard the screams again. They were so terrifying, they spun him around. And again. But where is it coming from? And to whom does this wailing belong? Skinwalkers? Or something else entirely? I think I'm going to stay far away from that forest. After the alarm went off at their cafe, Redditor ODHB went to check the CCTV footage. This is what they found. A dark figure moves into the corner and shortly after races across the room. The figure doesn't seem tall. Compare it to the table nearby. It looks like it's crawling on all fours. Some in the comments think it's a cat or a dog. They even say they see 4 legs. But the figure seen briefly at the beginning of the video looks much taller. Could it be an animal climbing in from the window, jumping down, and then scurrying past? That would be my logical explanation. But even if it's not, I think we can rule out a bug on this one. Number 8. YouTuber Hassan Barbar writes that the Jinn of the Stick is the strongest thing in the world of the Jinn, and he's captured it on video. Let's take a look. Soon you can hear the Jinn moaning nearby.
طب ليش انت ما ظهرت اي لما كان الشيخ هون؟
And finally, Hassan comes across the Jinn stick.
انت وحده؟ يعني طب ليش وقعتيها يعني تخوفيني اطلع من المكان برجعه هسه الشيخ برجع الشيخ هون ها في صوت
Hassan follows the sound of a bottle being kicked around, but he finds nothing.
ها معقول.
Is the djinn up to his games again? I think he just might be, and if that's the case, Hassan had better be careful. The djinn is around every corner. YouTuber Moxley's Crazy Adventures posted this haunted graveyard video in November of 2019, writing, "Welcome back to my first haunted graveyard. I went here to see what I could capture, if anything at all. What I did capture was insane. Alright, you reeled us in. Let's just hope you deliver." And Moxley does deliver. He captures a dark shadow-like figure gliding across the backdrop of a lit brick wall. He shouts out to it, but it doesn't respond.
What the is that? Hello?
He later hears heavy footsteps nearby. They're clearly heard in the leaves around him. In the comments, YouTuber Spooky Spectre notes that this thing wasn't moving like a human being, nor did the brush move as it passed by. It also didn't respond when being called out to, or make noise or footsteps. Do you agree with Spooky Spectre? Did this freak you out? If not, then you're one brave cookie. After a mission to an old haunted railway tunnel, Crypto Girl 13 spied something mysterious in her footage while editing. Published in August of 2013, the Crypto Girl and her friend are navigating through the forest and mud to the mouth of the tunnel. After wading through obstacles of sludge and climbing over large branches, they arrive at the entrance. Zooming into the deep darkness, the video starts glitching out as she talks about the story of a monster living in the tunnel.
Old story that some kind of creature, I think there's some kind of creature that...
Getting closer to the entrance, they hear some creepy noises inside.
that.
What the that?
But it was upon editing the footage that they spotted these two glowing red orbs, which they believe to be eyes of the legendary monster. Were they closer to the cryptid than they ever imagined? Or is there something else inhabiting this old railway tunnel? Since it's been almost 10 years, I don't know if this mystery will ever be solved. Kevin Ramos is holding a paranormal investigation session at the Fort Delaware, which was in use from the mid-1800s to the mid-1900s, and is said to be ripe with spiritual activity, even after being decommissioned well over 50 years ago. After a day of walking, they stop and ask a few questions to the spirits upon nightfall. Look what happens when they try to get to know more about the ghost of a person stationed here.
Did you like him? Can you cross the rods if you liked him?
First, a white apparition passes by, followed by a black shadow that one of them actually catches out of the corner of their eye. This isn't their reflection in the window, because none of them are walking, and in this exact moment, this person thinks they feel a tap on their shoulder and shine a light behind them to make sure. It definitely looks like something was near them, to say the very least. Why she didn't say something as soon as it happened is something I don't know. I guess they were too scared at the time. This TikToker is wondering what this thing is. The creepy creature growls and leaps around the yard. Some in the comments are saying that the license plate suggests this was filmed in Malaysia. In that case, I agree it could be a Malaysian flying fox, or as many in the comments suggest, an exceptionally large bat, and it appears to be caught on something. No wonder it's so angry, and its screeching anger is leaving viewers shocked and confused. How brave. Looks like zombies want to get out of bed every once in a while. published to YouTube in October of 2011 by Underwater Ireland. This YouTuber sets out into a purportedly haunted graveyard in Ireland. The cemetery is innately creepy, with trees growing into steeple-like coverage as she enters. After exploring a bit, she sets up a camera to film overnight. What she manages to capture on film will send a chill down your spine. The gate opens in the middle of the night, no one is there. It doesn't appear to be windy. Then something flashes on the screen, it's hard to make out. As some in the comments point out, if you watch the clip in slow motion, you can see a ghostly demon face. It is quite clear if you manage to pause it at the right moment. Some say it looks like a skeletal hand, others a white orb spirit. What do you think it could be? Is this the zombie outbreak we've all been waiting for? Only one way to find out for sure. What you are witnessing is rare underwater footage of a ningen, a gigantic sea creature apparently first spotted by Pacific fishermen sometime in the 90s. The name literally means human, and that's because they tend to have a round head along with 4 limbs and a skinny torso. The creature is about the size of a submarine, but looks rubbery and boneless. It appears to be mostly carried by ocean currents and has a limited control over its directional course. Since ningen sightings are so new, not much is known about these creatures aside from it having a preference for Arctic waters and a nocturnal sleep schedule. There's rumors about various government officials suppressing information from the public, so there's no telling what new ningen footage will leak in upcoming years. It really makes you wonder what other humanoid monsters are possibly being hidden from the world's eye. The Crazy Red Show uploaded an odd sky sighting over the Hawaiian island of Maui that I think needs more coverage and further analysis.
I'm filming that, brah. I'm telling you, brah, they're right there. Holy
Lights in the sky have assembled into a strange formation that does not get closer or farther away, simply hovers without a sound. Looking back, the Crazy Red Show says he still has no idea what these lights were, describing the unexplained event as a surreal moment that, if he had to guess, might be a triangulating satellite system being launched. I admit I don't have much of an idea of what a satellite system looks like, but I would assume getting launched involves movement of some kind. Like I said, these unexplained lights in the sky seem stationary and make for a strange sighting caught on tape indeed. Tell me if you think this is something made by us, because a lot of people think this could be video evidence of visitors from someplace far beyond our world. I personally think it could be flares from a government drill, but it's too hard to say. The Paranormal Boys experience crazy paranormal activity in this place frozen in time. As they're speaking to the spirits, they hear something.
Did you hear that?
That was definitely a knock. Later, using a spirit box app, they capture this. As they continue speaking, they're sent some terrifying messages.
If you're in this room, can you affect some of the devices we put down? Where are you, Tom? Was that Ben?
And then the spirits respond directly.
Copy this. You joking me? Did you hear that?
Still, it warns them.
Hey? Yeah, it's just sitting in the middle of the sofa. What was that? Dead. Dead?
There's someone upstairs.
Can you hear that up there? Living. Can you hear that up there? Living.
Since the team won't listen to the spirit's warnings, it takes matters into its own hands.
I thought you pushed my arm then. Something just... Jeffrey. Something just pushed my arm.
What pushed his arm? I think it was Jeffrey, but in the end, it could be any one of the demons haunting this place. On February 5th, 2002, Robert Picton was taken into custody by a Vancouver police task force who had found personal items on his pig farm from a woman who had disappeared. There were no other clues aside from the missing belongings, such as a prescription inhaler and other items. In other words, enough evidence to hold him, but not enough for a solid conviction. prosecutors needed more evidence, so on February 23, 2002, they sent one of their best undercover officers to pose as an inmate to try and get Robert to confess his actions. Robert hadn't had a friend in a long time and was more than willing to swap stories with what he thought was a fellow like-minded psycho. What he revealed was absolutely horrifying. The undercover officer leads the conversation by saying the ocean is the best way to get rid of the passed away. Roberts is quick to correct him.
Taking the ocean. Take the path.
With CCTV cameras rolling overhead, the undercover officer gets Robert Picton to admit something he had not said to the detective in years. The reason they weren't able to find any of the passed away was because he had put them through meat processing equipment and most likely fed them to his pigs. When the undercover agent tries to get him to say more about what he's done, Robert gives us a glimpse into what a person like him thinks of the people whose lives he's taken. What's most terrifying of all about this is how they were nothing more to him than a number. He sees no individuality, nothing to make them human or set them apart. They are all the same to him, a number that he wants to make even for his own selfish satisfaction. Robert Picton might have gotten away with all 50 acts, if not for this self-incriminating testimony, which was used against him. On December 11th, 2007, he was sentenced to life behind bars. He decided not to make a statement upon being sentenced. I guess he felt like he had already said enough. In a dark tunnel, no one can hear you scream, except for maybe the odd urban explorer wandering through that tunnel. Cringy Parkour published this footage in May of 2017 writing, "I heard like screeching or something in the tunnel and I want to go check it out. At first I thought it was like a pig or something. But what I record on the camera obviously was not a pig." The clip shows this YouTuber marching quickly through the dark tunnel ahead. There's water at the base of the tunnel, random graffiti on the walls, and it seems like it should be empty. What is this sound then? It doesn't sound like a scream. This rare rushing creature is being called everything from a mole to a troll. The phone quality is too poor to make out much more than a tiny humanoid hand and a small face. Whatever this is, it doesn't behave much like a mole, which I doubt would stay above ground with two humans so close. Anyway, try to translate this conversation if you can, and let me know if they ever say what kind of creature this is.
Quantos saíram? Só um? Aí pra trás tem mais quantos? Cela 4 e a ala.
Bora, bota a cara pra cima aí.
At the 15-second mark, you can see its hand more clearly, and it does look like it could have a well-developed thumb, which would exclude it from belonging to most species. With that said, I think it could perhaps be a baby possum, which do have opposable thumbs and sometimes like to burrow underground. I could be wrong though, and even after almost 100,000 views, nobody seems to have come up with a concrete answer. This stadium is haunted by a black shadow. YouTuber Outdoor Xiao Long is searching for it when this happens. Later, he sees the red ball he saw last time he was here. He starts running toward it when it upends him. Evil seems to be following him everywhere here. Keep a close eye on the mirror. A shadow figure is standing beside him. Did you see it? Is it a trick of the light? Our eyes? That's what I would have thought, but it disappears when he turns back. But it's not just that shadow that's freaking viewers out. Watch this next scene. What was that? A face peeks out at him from the doorway. It looks like a woman with long hair. Looks to me like the shadow figure isn't the only thing Zhao Long has to worry about in here. This place is a demon's paradise, and it seems like they're out to get him. Number 12. Ghost investigations are even scarier in another language. In this video posted to YouTube in December of 2018, ghost investigators attempt to infiltrate an abandoned house that we can only guess is haunted. At least it looks that way. While exploring the home, the investigator keeps hearing things moving, debris being unsettled, and from the way he's jerking his camera around, it seems he's sensing movements around him. What is in this home with him? The place appears as though someone just picked up and left. It's covered with debris and looks like it was abandoned in a state of chaos. While creeping around some upstairs room, the ghost investigators appear to sense someone or something, and that something grabs a hold of him. It's clear he's struggling with a force in the home. He tussles with it and for a moment is dragged backwards by the force before he escapes, racing out of there like his life depends on it, which it probably does. What is going on in this video? Is there any explanation as to what pulled this ghost investigator backwards? It certainly looks real to me. For fear of knowing, don't answer. After all, I don't think 99% of people could handle the answer.
어딨어? 자신 있으면 나와봐.
Some souls darken the doorways of haunted homes, others grow as bright as they lived. Published by Sajid Hussein in August of 2021, this Nest Cam caught an unusual anomaly on this dark street at night. The video shows a vibrant figure glowing in the yard opposite the camera. The bright figure appears to be moving. It radiates while still for a moment before moving in a flash to a position about a foot away. The light then dims before glowing brightly again. It then enters into the street, glowing and spreading like fire. Throughout this, at times it looks like one entity and at other times two. At the end of the clip, the light subsides and disappears altogether. Where did the spirit go? Maybe this is the moment it crossed over. If you're looking for a haunted location, your best bet is to choose somewhere with a scary history. Steve Ronan, an American urban explorer, traveled to the United Kingdom to investigate a Victorian-style mansion believed to be the site of a gruesome taking of life. Despite its longevity, the event took place in 2006 when then homeowner Christopher Lumsden ended his wife's life in a jealous rage. She had allegedly just returned from dinner with her lover when the incident occurred. Despite the viciousness of the event, Lumsden only served 5.5 years when he was released on license, the British legal system's equivalent of parole. Intrigued by the story, Ronan decided to investigate at the home in order to see if he could come up with answers. Upon arrival, the front of the house is littered with large trash, including several beds, some broken walls, and what appears to be clothing. At the time the video was filmed, renovations were ongoing to prepare the house to be put up for sale. It It is unknown if the trash was from the house itself or was left there randomly, but it would be strange if so many pieces of clothing were left behind. The first bit of the video is Ronan and his team exploring the house, finding it in a state of disrepair. At one point, they find a strange piece of wallpaper on the floor. The same system is seen covering the walls of a room. Written on it are various strange phases, including Carpe Diem, Dungeons Fire, Jungle, Truth or Dare Power. What this means is a mystery, and it's a strange design to have as a wallpaper. Things quickly take a turn for the creepy when they find a red stain on the floor of one of the rooms in front of a dresser. On closer inspection, it is a sizable red blot stained into the floorboard that was once beneath the now torn up carpet. It definitely is believable that it's what we're all thinking, since the coloration does resemble when such a stain has aged over time. One of the crew decides to shine a UV light on the spot. As he explains, the spot remains visible as a dark purple under the light, instead of blending into the floor. Also, while it is not mentioned, there are spots that weren't visible when the light wasn't on. Going off the find, they decide to begin a spirit box session in the room. The method they use is simple, as they find a radio and rapidly shift through the channels. After a couple of questions and one false alarm, a voice comes through the static saying, "You were tricked."
You were tricked. Did you just hear you were tricked?
This is strange, as immediately before that, they were discussing whether or not they were deceived into believing another house entirely was the location of the gruesome life-taking. At the beginning of the video, they spoke with a security guard of another residence who claimed the occupied house was the actual location of the incident. However, they were not allowed in and went to this house nearby that is also said to be where the incident happened. Could it be possible they are communicating with something who knows they were tricked? The group hears various answers come through the radio, although admittedly it is hard to hear whether it is actually something answering them or simply words from the radio programs coming through and sounding like answers. Next, the group decides to conduct an EVP session to see if they can hear anything else. During the session, the group hears noises and something like shuffling is picked up on the EVP. At this time, nobody in the room is moving or talking. They also hear something that sounds like chewing or moving their mouth. After asking a question, some sort of faint whisper can be heard right before the next question is asked.
If so, who was the one who murdered you?
Unfortunately, it's too difficult to decipher what, if anything, is being said, as it is too quiet. After nothing else seems to come through, finally the group uses an actual spirit box, which automatically and rapidly changes stations so quickly you can't hear what is being said by the program. Ronan asks if anyone can tell what happened and if there was an event of a life being taken. Soon after, a voice comes through with what sounds like yes, immediately followed by what sounds like someone died. Soon, a male voice comes through with what Ronan thinks sounds like "wasn't me."
Guys, there's so much activity in that.
The moment that is guaranteed to send chills down your spine is when a woman, either laughing, crying, or possibly screaming, can be heard. The investigation wraps soon after, and Ronan leaves with what could be considered valuable evidence. The event that occurred in the home has left an imprint, and not just the stain on the floor. TikToker Marlene Sanchez 052 thought her partner was joking when he started to behave like something was pulling him. It turns out he wasn't. Watch closely.
When I thought he was joking, but something was really pulling him.
His leg really does look like it's being yanked by something. This is not a natural movement that you make on your own. Some in the comments also note a child's giggle at the beginning of the clip. Is that child actually there? Or is it the child spirit pulling his leg? I think it's the latter, and that's truly terrifying because that kid is strong. This family is living with paranormal activity, and this short clip shared by YouTube channel Paranormal Encounters Shorts is just a taste of what they're experiencing. Listen closely.
What?
What is that?
No, stop.
Alex.
Stop.
Okay, let me get
Stop. Really?
Oh my god.
One of the crew thinks he knows what it is.
It's silverware.
Alright, my heart just jumped in my chest.
What?
What?
Just wait a second.
Are you recording right now?
Yeah, I am.
Did you get that?
Yeah.
Was it silverware? And if it was, who is clattering it?
What is that?
Whoever is banging around this haunted home sounds dreadfully impatient to me. I think it might be time to get this home blessed. Something is buried in the debris of this house. Published by Proving Demons in December of 2021, these paranormal explorers couldn't last the whole night in this very haunted house. Immediately upon entering, they see that this house houses some strange stuff. They soon start to hear creepy noises as well.
I know, so just stick close to me. Shh. What was that about?
They also think they hear walking upstairs.
Yo, is there somebody in here?
As they're looking up the stairs, they start to hear a woman's voice humming. They don't encounter whatever is making the noise, but later as they're about to use a paranormal device, they hear another strange sound. A second sound follows as they're trying to make their way through all the garbage to leave.
Just come with me.
They manage to get out of the place, and maybe just in time. In some parts of the world, it's customary to never put your shoes on in a hurry. Here's why.
I'm going.
A large snake has coiled up in the toe of his shoe and refuses to get out. If he had put it on without looking, then the snake would have no doubt defended itself. He says that this is a non-venomous juvenile rat snake, and I wanted to know if this is an accurate description. I see no bright markings, so I would say he's at least right about the non-venomous part. He gets it out using a hook they keep around just for this purpose, and does not seem too worried about it, but as far as I'm concerned, any snake in my shoe should be considered highly dangerous. After watching this creepy video, I might start checking my shoes each time before I put them on. Perks is exploring an old, overgrown estate that's rumored to have a long history full of bad events and cursed memories. The manor itself seems to be in early stages of decay, and judging by these mattresses in the living room, looks to have been taken over by strangers. The house is definitely creepy, but nothing really feels out of place until Perks heads down into the basement. He can't quite explain how he knows it, but he can sense an evil presence down here, something that has not been disturbed in a long time. That's when he finds it lying in the corner of an especially unwelcoming part of the basement. If an expert could please verify, we could solve a potentially horrifying scene. A YouTuber named Michael Luzzi returns to Split Rock Road in New Jersey to a spot where he claims a person once stood behind him and disappeared. Down a creepy old country trail, they see a light that looks like it could be coming from one of their phones or something, except there's a second light way higher up.
Oh, there's a light over there. Yo, what the heck?
What is that?
I don't think they belong to a radio tower or any other type of utility service because approximately 4 seconds later, the lights seem to move to the right of the tree. The eerie phantom lights return at 7 minutes and 45 seconds. Watch this part and give me your best rational explanation as to what this is, because I haven't even a guess. And less than a minute later, they see something way worse than lights, something that sends them running back to the car.
I don't know, that noise is definitely coming from over here somewhere. Officer, what the f***?
The faint outline of a person materializes against the dark backdrop of nothingness. They do happen to be hanging out with a third friend who is wearing dark clothes though, so while it could be him, for some reason I seriously doubt it. The Queensland Police Service in Australia released this seriously scary video on their Facebook page. Wrapped firmly around this poor person's leg is the last thing anyone wants, a large snake. They seem to be employing some kind of tickling strategy that I doubt is going to make it relax. Wiggling my fingers as fast as possible around a snake seems like a terrible move, but I'm also no snake expert. I am absolutely amazed at how calm the snake remains as the officer puts her hands close to its head and unwraps it from this leg. I was assuming it was domesticated until the officer was later told it was wild. Someone tell me what kind of snake this was and why it didn't seem to care about being handled for the first time. Maybe it was simply looking for a warm spot to coil up for the night, or maybe it was someone else's escaped pet on the loose. A man is testing out his GoPro when a mysterious sea creature is caught on camera in deep waters. Look closely behind him. You'll just barely see a small black object move in the waves before mysteriously disappearing back to wherever it came. He suspects this bizarre sighting could have been anything from a great white to an orca whale, or something smaller like an otter or a seal is not out of the question. That's a big difference and not something you'd want left up to your imagination while floating on a kayak by yourself with nothing around for miles. The creature does not resurface and ultimately leaves them alone. He's not sure which mysterious creature is responsible for this suspenseful moment caught on GoPro, but there's always a chance of an even closer encounter next time. A landlord named Jill Prevost is in the basement of a rental property when she sees a furious house cat guarding the top of the steps. The angry, hissing animal descends upon her within seconds. Watch this part and you'll see the cat attack her purse with all of its might. Jill simply holds it in front of her for protection, otherwise the rampaging animal could have easily been climbing up her leg. There is nowhere to run except past the cat up the stairs. Once upstairs, she immediately grabs a broom and remains stuck in the house until the owner comes back.
Get away. This cat just attacked me.
This video is definitely bizarre until you realize cats instinctively go for areas that cause the most damage, like the face or throat. Though it may be a domestic house cat, it is nonetheless protecting its territory with everything it's got, so who knows what would have happened if the owner had not come to Jill's rescue in time.
Just like lights. Some sort of paranormal activity.
This gym could be haunted according to Coach Megan, who is making a video of her backhand spring when she sees what she describes as a little blue light on the speaker, almost like a camera flash, except she is by herself, so nobody could have taken it. 2 seconds later, a floating white anomaly travels towards her in the mirror and then mysteriously disappears, only to resurface 2 seconds afterwards as a strange white light streaking down from behind. After reviewing the evidence, I honestly can't tell if this scary moment is a camera glitch, edited, or truly paranormal, but since the video is pretty good quality, I think it's probably more likely real than not.
Anything that's gonna scare you is just like lights. Some sort of paranormal activity.
Randy films his cat taking a midday snooze when something creepy moves overhead. I would say this is just a particle of dust, except the cat sees it too and bolts upstairs like it's one of the scariest moments it's ever had in all of its 9 lives. Something makes the cat open its eyes. It senses something is wrong. Then an apparent ghost orb floats by, and suddenly the cat no longer wants to be in the same room anymore. Skeptics, I'm sure, will be quick to point out that the cat could have been startled by the camera. That's a good point, except cats usually don't run in fear from their owner. This cat seems to have felt the presence of something, a feline sixth sense of sorts, and it doesn't stick around. YouTuber Tim Morozov always encounters terrible things, but this demon takes the cake. When he requests that the demon shows itself, it does so with gusto.
Если там кто-нибудь есть, вы можете ответить мне?
Don't ask something you don't want the answer to. Later it reveals itself.
Вы меня слышите?
Well, that was terrifying, and the terror doesn't end there. Something's in the room with him. Later, he finds a toy horse in this basement room. After moving across the room, he turns to find that the horse moved.
Кто ты? Ты здесь?
When he turns on the camera in the room, he discovers the demon is near. Tim attempts to touch the demon.
Я тебя вижу. Не бойся меня. Ты умеешь разговаривать?
But the demon disappears. Where did it go? I'm afraid that Tim got too close to it, and perhaps it possessed him.
So I'm hearing really weird noises outside, and I'm kind of freaked out because it's late and they're really weird.
A YouTuber named Shadow of Joey has been hearing some strange disturbances outside of his window and decides to make a quick video about it. He summons all of the courage in his body and makes himself open the window while recording. This bizarre 3-second sighting is what he finds. A shrill warning call fills the night as a dark figure scurries by his window on all fours. This could be some kind of wild creature, but the feet look to be in the shape of shoes. It's likely that this video is just a friend wearing all black clothing and covering their face. With that said, maybe it was somebody possessed, or even the rake taking on its human form. Shadow of Joey wisely decides not to pursue the creature to get more video evidence, so we may never know the real story for certain. A YouTuber named Nightshade stands at the top of his steps after hearing noises coming from deep within his basement. Every time he says something, orbs seem to follow.
Hello?
He tries to keep his calm as he makes a request of the ghost to confirm it's real, and they're with him. Watch as the orbs seem to go up the steps when asked.
If you could come up the stairs for me if you haven't already done so. Please do it now. If it was Mr. Grooters, you could go down the stairs, but Mrs. Grooters, you would not go down the stairs.
And when he goes down the steps, one of his dogs seems hesitant to follow. They too seem to notice the abundant number of white circular orbs that now dance all around. Ball lightning are luminescent phenomenons usually linked to thunderstorms. The rare anomalies have been recorded throughout history in various sizes, from the size of a pea to several feet wide. The following clip appears to capture this phenomenon. Published to YouTube by Roman Tregubov of. In August of 2016, the so-called lightning fireball was captured in Russia at the edge of a field. Stormy weather darkens the sky as the fireball moves slowly across the horizon. Surrounded by blue lights, the ball flares up randomly and disappears behind some tall trees, but is still visible beyond. Although some are sure this is ball lightning, YouTuber Jason W suggests an alternative theory in the comments, to which others agree. He writes, "That's an arc of electricity going across two different phases on a power line. Not that weird, but pretty cool to witness as long as you're far away." The Redditor claims that there are no power lines in this area to validate this explanation, but again, it's hard to tell from this distance. What do you think? Do you agree with Roman or Jason? Either way, this brilliant ball of light would be a crazy sight to encounter. It's 3 a.m. and therefore time for two brothers to test their bravery down in the basement, which they are pretty sure is haunted. They spend about a minute down there and start hearing noises from the back of the room. The brothers quickly agree that this noise sounds like a single human footstep in the darkness, and I would have to concur.
Yo, do you see it?
Instead of running away, the two brothers decide to directly confront the creature, or spirit, or whatever it is that's down there with them, and the timing of its reply shows that it understands them completely.
If there's anyone here with us, please make a sign. Get out.
The two brothers were hoping to last the night, but they hardly make it down there 5 minutes. Every sound they hear comes closer than the one before, until this final sound comes from directly behind them as they leave.
I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry, but I'm scared. Oh my. Okay, alright. Bye, guys.
You can see the younger brother is right next to him, and he doesn't do anything to cause the sound. So unless there's a third person with them, I think this video is absolutely real. Holly's Lore is a paranormal investigation channel that explores creepy abandoned places to see if local legends are real or fake. In one ghost hunting episode, she explores a haunted forest in the swamps of Maryland in search of a headless apparition named Big Liz. The haunted bridge is said to be where all of the ghost sightings of Big Liz have occurred. There's a certain ritual to summon her that I'll get into in just a second, but first they explore the bridge and hear some creepy noises that could be ghost moans. Tell me if this sounds paranormal to you.
Rolling.
What is that? Did you hear it again?
That sounds like something dying.
Okay, so now the time has come to summon Big Liz. To do so, they must flash their lights 3 times and honk twice. Watch this area closely or you'll miss it.
Flash them 3 times, honk twice, right?
Yep.
What was that? What's that?
What are you talking about? Wait, what?
At 1 hour, 4 minutes, and 17 seconds, a shadowy mist passes over the bridge. There is no fog and nothing obstructing the headlights. They all see it except for one investigator whose view was obstructing because they were sitting in the car to flash the lights. And when Holly investigates the nearby woods with a high-power flashlight, the ghostly figure is caught on camera.
I thought it was closer. It was closer. But now I'm hearing it way over there.
So as far as I'm concerned, this paranormal investigation shows that the legend is real. A YouTuber named Daniel finds a graveyard that is different than most others. It is in a bad state of disrepair, but beyond that, some of the graves are just plain missing.
Doesn't look like it's 6 feet deep either. So cool in here.
The graves could have simply been relocated, but if that were the case, then I think that the grave sites would have been filled back in. For some reason though, this graveyard has perfectly dug up graves with absolutely no evidence of a burial. There's no casket and no headstone. It's not like these plots were recently dug for a future burial either. Vegetation is slowly creeping back over them, and they are covered with a light bed of dry leaves. Whatever the explanation for the absence of these graves, one thing is for sure, clearly a lot of time has passed since they've been uncovered. These paranormal investigators just want a good night's sleep. YouTuber Theodort says his apartment is haunted, and this team is here to investigate the matter. When the team asks how many spirits there are, they answer 3. Then they capture this strange orb that looks unusual.
Et clairement, t'as l'impression que c'est le même homme qui revient.
What is that? That can't be the usual speck of dust, can it? It appears again in a different room. Is this 2 of the 3 spirits making their appearance? I think it may be, but until I see the last of the trio, I'm going to remain a skeptic. Bree Calderon gets an alert from his home security system. The motion sensor camera has caught some weird things on tape over his table. Meanwhile, a small light is by the door that he can't explain. According to Bree, the ghost is moving towards an urn off camera that contains the cremated remains of his grandmother. That would be terrifying, but there's no way to tell if any part of the story is actually true. With that said, the strange mist might actually be some small picture distortion, but this visual glitch wouldn't be enough to set off the motion detector. Basically, I can't fully explain this video, so this might actually be paranormal. It's 10 at night when a sphere of light travels across the living room of a YouTuber named Play With Me. Moments later, this spectral figure emerges from the same area where the light last went off to. Its see-through body is especially visible against the dark hardwood floor as it crosses the room and walks straight through the door without opening it. There's no doubt that this is the sphere of a person, but is this editing or a real ghost is the real question. The Overland Hotel and Saloon is a creepy place, and YouTube team Paranormal Voyages has voyaged here to find out just how creepy it can be. After asking the spirits to move a hanger in the closet, they oblige.
Can you move any of them? Move them hard enough to where we can really notice?
I don't think that moved quite enough to confirm paranormal activity though, but they both feel a heaviness around them.
It's heavy in here. It's not hot in here or anything.
No, it's not. It's quite comfortable.
Later, they hear walking nearby.
I did not move. I felt that. Did you move?
Oh, since too.
It sounded like it was right here.
They then get readings on a couple of paranormal devices.
Oh,
blue.
it's cold.
It's blue. It's coming from the opposite side.
Whoa.
But the real activity occurs when they're sleeping. These are some frightening noises. Although I think the last one could just be one of them sighing in their sleep, I don't know how to explain the other audio, especially the walking. That's just plain creepy. The Loch Ness Monster has a cousin in Minnesota. Captured on camera by Mitch Rosso, this scary video is enough to keep you out of Minnesota's 10,000 lakes. Watch closely. It looks just like the famed footage of the Loch Ness Monster, blurriness and all. It's hard to tell if this is the real deal, but I want to believe. Is there someone hiding out of sight in this wreckage? Published by PH Red Fox, Yoon Sai-won is exploring an abandoned house in Korea when he hears this sound.
안녕하세요.
Is it an animal? A dog? He breaks out his EMF meter, which starts going haywire. He says it's not useful here because they're at the location's deepest point.
이제는 무의미. 여기 가는 깊숙한 데 와버려가지고.
Using facial recognition software, a scary face is recognized where there seems to be no one. It's recognized again, closer to him this time. Later, while using a spirit box, Sai-won gets the fright of his life. A bang is heard coming from someone unseen. A short while later, he is visited again by the spirit. But he sees nothing, and no one amongst the mess. Is Sai-won being stalked? And if so, by what? Want to see a magic trick right before your very own eyes? TikToker Vincent L.A. Jordan has one for you. Watch for the guy in the red shirt. Everyone's wondering where he came from. He seems to materialize out of thin air as the ladies walk forward. Watch again closely. My theory is that he's Doctor Strange, or he teleported there. Is there any more logical explanation? This team of paranormal explorers sees a stalker in the darkness. YouTuber Rodolfo Augusto and his team are searching a bathroom and are quickly met with fear.
Eu escutei barulho lá atrás, ó. Aonde? Aqui.
Essa aqui é onde eu tava lá?
Deve ser. Onde que tem lá? Vamos ali, só olhar ali e vamos lá pra casa.
Is someone stalking them?
Essa devastação toda. E no sítio da minha tia...
Ó. Tudo caído, ó, pra dentro. Aqui, mano, parece túmulo. Olha que túmulo ali, velho.
Parece que foi enterrado pessoa aí, né?
They find some strange prints in the sand.
O quê?
Ó.
Pô, tem alguma coisa aqui que passou em cima aí, ó. Sai daí, pinguim, vai ter gente morta aí.
But they don't yet see it. I think someone must be hot on their heels, but what exactly that is, only time will tell. A YouTuber named Battery Phil is exploring a cave in Jamestown, Arkansas, and taking a random video with a small keychain video camera. His friend once told him that he had seen a reptilian face suddenly appear in front of him while down here before, but Battery Phil doesn't exactly believe him. So imagine his surprise when he looked at this video much later and saw this creature looking straight at him. Look closely and you can make out the semi-intelligent gaze of a humanoid creature with a single brown eye, a flat nose, and a thin expressionless line for a mouth. It's there for only a moment and then gone. Of course, this could also just be a random rock formation that just happens to somewhat look like a face. I will say that the eye looks extremely realistic above all else, however, so I'm just not sure what to think. Will this couple live happily ever after? Shared by YouTube channel blah blah, this video was originally posted on TikTok. The mysterious video of what appears to be a wedding party is trending in the Arabic-speaking YouTube community. A pair of newlyweds sit together with a forlorn look on their faces while an officiant reads through some documents or scripture with the wedding party gathered round. We can assume all is normal, but a moment later something unsettling happens. Watch the bride-to-be. What came over her? Her eyes grow wide as though she's suddenly become possessed by something. She then follows an unknown object above before having a strange fit and appearing to silently scream in pain. Did a mysterious force from above possess her? Or did that force simply strike in that moment and cause her agonizing pain? It's hard for me to tell here what may have happened without further context or an extended video, but if I had to guess, I'd say something possessed her. It's all in the eyes. Redditor ZZZ747 writes, "It happened again." As the Redditor explains it, they posted a video months ago noting that a neighbor's CCTV camera captured something strange, and in this post, we're seeing it for a second time. What do you think this white mist could be? Many in the comments think it's fog rolling through. Others suggest that the neighbor could be vaping. Still, others think it looks like the outline of a person or a ghost. What do you think it is? I'm not 100% sold that it's supernatural, but that doesn't mean it could be. Though judging by the Redditor's title, this isn't the first time this has happened. If this is captured again, maybe we'll be able to get more concrete answers. This place is 100% haunted. YouTuber Tomcat0031 captured a shadow figure streaking past the door on a floor that was empty at the time. You need no instruction on where to look. This one is hard to miss.
Right, this is filming day. Right, both me and Joe seen a shadow go across this room here. Bub! Somebody's in there. Mate, I tell you what, you're doing a good job.
The way it moves doesn't seem natural, and you don't hear footsteps. It's almost like it's gliding past.
Yeah. Bub! Somebody's in there. Mate, I tell you what, you're doing a good job.
Notice that you see the darkness move across the crack to the left of the door, and then you see a larger black darkness to the right of the doorway. The former looks more solid to me, which suggests that it's a solid figure, and the latter looks like a shadow being cast by that figure. Lastly, in the crack to the left, you see a figure move again in the other direction. This makes me think that whatever is there made a small circle around the room, and the way the light falls casts a shadow on the far right-hand wall for a moment, but whether whatever is there is paranormal or not is the real question. Strange things have been happening in this guy's house, which he says seem demonic. Published by Cayman Poe in May of 2011, he and his friends are up at 1 in the morning, waiting to see if anything unusual happens. After a time, they hear something from outside the room. They go downstairs to check it out, but find nothing.
Hello?
But after heading back to their room, they hear another sound, this one louder than the last. They return downstairs and notice that the bathroom door is now closed. When they tell the demon to show himself or reveal that he's there, he does. They race back upstairs while considering calling the cops, but when they hear the demon again,
Hello?
I hear it again. They are lured downstairs. The door is open. This time, the demon doesn't wait for them.
To the left.
Submitted to the Chills Narrator subreddit by Hunting the Haunted, this redditor wrote, "Demonic voice at abandoned insane asylum." Let's watch their submission and see what they're talking about. There was certainly some discussion about this video in the comments. Paranormal Psychic wrote, "If this is actually real, this is probably the clearest EVP possibly ever." While Shuddering Shannon wrote, it said, "Go grab the camera," in a mischievous child's voice. Did you hear the demonic voice? If so, what do you think it said? Let me know in the comments. I've got it. What would you do if your security camera caught someone or something poking its head inside your home? Posted by I Like Chia Seeds to the Ghosts subreddit. The redditor states that their neighbor lives alone and that sensor light kept flicking on and off during the night, but as it would turn off, the sensors weren't just glitching out, they were sensing someone who wasn't supposed to be there. The footage shows someone peering into the home, wearing a mask of some sort. Redditor Lame suggests it looks like a dude wearing a mask, a hoodie, and a baseball cap. Julian of Norwich X responds that perhaps the stranger's cap mask combo forced him to look up to see if he'd encountered the homeowner. When he realized it was just a motion light, he backed slowly out of the home. Others say if it was a nervous man looking to take something, his reaction was much too calm in response to a light turning on in the home he was about to take from. Do you agree? If that's not the case, then what is it? Pipitello Soul Shorts shares this scary video, whose original source is unknown. Although we don't have context, we can assume this group is touring a haunted place when something unexpected happens.
I don't know. There's no clip on there now, bro. I'm getting Poltergeist activity.
That one drop kicked my soul from my body. Although the clip is short and we don't see what causes this mayhem, I think it's safe to say whatever it is out to cause fear. Austin is nervous with anticipation over exploring the haunted Windsor Hotel in Georgia, a 24-hour paranormal investigation challenge that will leave all of them freaked out soon enough. A young person once fell down an elevator shaft in the early 1900s, and the place has been haunted ever since. Her ghost has been seen in hotel mirrors. Objects often move on their own. Austin isn't sure if he believes the paranormal rumors until weird things are caught on camera they've left running overnight. Keys and a wallet fall off the dresser while everyone is asleep. Both objects are planted securely on an even surface and have no reason to drop unless it was a ghost or a string. I don't see either, so I'm not sure what to think about this video at this point, but things are creepy so far. One of them wakes up and goes over to investigate the bizarre occurrence. What's caught on camera next is downright strange. As they are picking up the wallet and keys, a lamp clicks off. The noise sounds exactly like the button on their lamp.
You heard? Listen. You can literally hear the flick.
Something had to literally physically turn that off, bro.
So there's no doubt that a lamp turns on, but the question or not is if it's the one that's in front of them. If there were 4 beds in this room, then I feel like there would be a second lamp behind them off camera. Maybe they were turning that one off to make the clicking noise. Still, an overwhelming number of people agree this is paranormal. 682 to 15 as of the time of this video, and given the hotel's haunted history, I trust in what they saw and wouldn't be surprised if it was real. What are these strange so-called light balls that keep setting this Redditor's cameras off? Redditor's Spambone is wondering if the Reddit community has any theories. Well, let's see what we can come up with as well. Let's take a look. This goes on for 2 minutes. Sometimes 2 light balls appear simultaneously. Some say it's obviously a bug, others think it's a web of some kind. Still others say it's a laser pointer or a reflection of some other light source. Practically no one thinks this is an orb or paranormal in any way, and neither do I. I'm firmly in the spider or cobweb camp. What do you think it is? These two are having the time of their lives, but not everyone has come to the party. Posted on TikTok by Venus Saputri2. This scary video shows a pair having a grand old time swimming by a waterfall, but as the camera swings around, a creepy figure is seen sulking in the background. The mysterious figure lurks nearly out of sight along the rocks behind some overhanging brush. It looks like a young girl with dark hair wearing white. Why is it watching them? Is this about to crash their party? She certainly doesn't throw off any party vibes. More creepy stalker vibes in my opinion. Something is with exploring with Tom as he checks out an abandoned mansion that isn't so empty after all. Noises make him want to run away screaming for help, but he also wants to make longer YouTube videos than he normally does, so he pushes onwards.
I'm hoping no one's in here. No one's definitely gonna be in here, so I guess I'll be fine. Wait, what the?
Tom doesn't know what to think when a clown walks out and casually turns down the hall without a single glance his way. The clown begins to rock in place, and exploring with Tom actually starts to feel bad for him, which makes no sense in my opinion, because almost no one would approach a stranger dressed as a clown in a busted mansion. Instead of running away to get help, he decides to offer the clown help himself. He never does actually dial a number. Another reason this could be fake.
If I call the police for you, you're gonna get some help, okay? You're gonna get some help. I'm gonna call the police for you right now, okay?
Suddenly, the clown snaps back to reality and rejects Tom's help with a look that makes him take off.
Yo, I'm gonna help you.
In my opinion, this final response is what he should have done all along. A YouTuber named Bad Chain Puller says they were watching Game of Thrones when they noticed this little girl staring into their home with a blank expression. She does not seem to be trying to get anyone's attention and seems perfectly content with staring straight ahead into a stranger's home on Christmas, judging by the decorated tree. The YouTuber says that there is an explanation for this video, but doesn't go into any more detail. Maybe they will still remember what happened all these years later. Back in 1993, this TikToker's father took a video on a sharp camcorder. She thinks he captured a ghost. Posted on TikTok by Olivia Bishop, the mysterious video shows a child at play while her parents watch.
For all those Gen Zs out there, this is a camcorder. We'd set it up, press record, and go about our day. I don't know why, it was just a 90s thing. And just so you guys know, we've had a ghost in every house that we lived in, so that's why I found this very intriguing. Go ahead and watch that pumpkin in the left-hand corner and let me know what you think.
A small plastic pumpkin sits at the end of a slide near the camcorder. After a moment, it rolls across the floor on its own for no discernible reason. Some in the comments note that the baby looks over at the pumpkin at the exact moment, like she senses something is there. Olivia claims to have had a ghost in every house they've lived in. Is this one of them? It appears that's the case. Jade of YouTube channel Ghost Club Paranormal spends a night alone in the most haunted room of the Glen Tavern Inn. Cue all the spooky stuff. As Jade is describing the spirits here, the lights flicker off.
It's the one that's not supposed to be very nice. I don't know why the light just went out.
She captures some energies via the K2 meter. She starts to hear noises.
When I get spikes on the K2 meter. Okay, now I'm hearing noises just all around the room.
And one even seems to happen in response to her request.
Knock.
The spirit appears to turn the flashlight on.
Alright guys, same thing. I have turned this flashlight off, and if any spirits want to turn it on by the time I get back, you can be my guest. I'm gonna leave now. Oh, okay. Oh my again, it was like...
Then a cowboy responds to Jade's questions.
Are there any cowboys with me in this room right now? Can you make a knocking noise? If there's any
And when she continues her communication with the spirit, it says hello.
This is so weird. Like, I feel like somebody keeps pulling on my tassel.
I've seen enough here to be certain that Glen Tavern Inn is haunted, and I think Jade has a finger on the pulse of the spirit. A video of a human torso walking upright is probably one of the scariest home CCTV moments I've ever seen caught on tape. The main reason it looks so terrifying is because this is mostly a marionette puppet instead of CGI, which requires more work but looks more realistic. Somebody is most likely pulling its strings from above to make it walk, or at least I hope so. If you're hunting for Jinn, you better be prepared. YouTube team HD Adam Paranormal searches for the creatures in this paranormal home, and they find them. The radio first signals that a being stands in this corner. As they continue around the haunted home, they encounter this shadow figure. The shadow disappears, so they try to speak to the spirit. That's when they hear this.
Burada olduğunu farkındayım. Duyuyor musun?
Duyuyorum abi.
İnşallah arkadaşlar mikrofona bu ses geliyordur.
They hear unexplained banging as they search the place.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Gel lan dur. Gel buraya. Gel buraya. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Another bang, and then their sound goes out. Later, a strange rolling sound is heard.
Şuraya. Yalnız.
And something seems to be playing around with them.
Ya abi.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Duydun mu sesi? Duydum.
Maybe it's this.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Euzu billahi mineşşeytanirracim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Tamam gidin.
Was this figure behind all of this paranormal activity? I'm of the opinion that there are multiple jinn active here. A YouTuber named Monster Mike Fishing may have landed his biggest catch yet, and it's nowhere near the ocean. His friend Jacob plugs the pipe so that their target can't escape, but now he has to reach into the murky waters to pull it out by hand. As soon as he announces that he's okay, this happens.
Are you okay? I'm okay. Guys, no! Oh my god!
At 6 minutes and 12 seconds, the snake opens its mouth, and Jacob is barely able to hang on with one hand. He almost drops it and then quickly catches it again before it has a chance to attack. Now Jacob grapples with the snake and they wrestle to a stalemate. He can't hold this position much longer and calls to his friends.
I need help!
Only when he is pulled out of the sewer do they realize how massive this reptile really is and how much danger he was truly in and how risky this truly was. Neutralizer Ghosts is the name of a paranormal investigation channel in Indonesia that has some really creepy videos. Beyond the outskirts of town lies a ghost colony, and sometimes a paranormal entity or two will wander into some local houses to haunt. This one looks small and frail, bound tightly in burial garbs. It has sentience and follows the investigator's movements with its head. He talks to it for a little bit and seems to ask questions in the hopes that it will answer.
Aku yo kesel ket mangke sekitar ketera nemu apa-apa. Saya gak nek tak barbari. Ini enaknya kita apain teman-teman sini soal.
The mysterious figure never offers an explanation. They never seem to. He attempts to rip off its face covering and the spirit quickly disappears. He checks all around the area and no longer sees or senses it's near. The paranormal exploration continues for a while until he's convinced the town is clear. Maybe next time he'll get a hold of its robes and finally reveal the spirit figure's true face. What is this creepy figure skulking in the darkness? The group encountered the creature at night hiding behind a pile of logs.
Come on, let's go. Oh, come on, let's go. Come on.
The figure appears like a woman, but not quite human. Take a closer look. Is this an extraterrestrial? A ghost, perhaps? Your guess is as good as mine. This bizarre video caught my attention on the Chills Narrator subreddit. West for President is taking a trip in Bergen, Norway, filming some birds at the harbor, when something really creepy caught him by surprise.
Ah, yeah, bird. What the No. Oh, okay. What the Is that a face? Oh, what the
When he zooms in on this odd rat-like face, it is sticking out from the tunnel. I don't know if this tunnel is haunted or has an oversized creature problem or what, but it's enough to make West for President hold a scream in as he runs away. I would say that it's part of the structure, but there's no identical part on the other side of the wall. I don't know what it is, but if he thinks it's far from normal, then that's good enough for me. While exploring an abandoned place, an animalistic growling sets this ghost hunter's nerves on edge. Published by Beshawn76, Altamimi in May of 2022, this scary clip reveals that this place is still alive. The growling voice seems to threaten the ghost hunter. The next moment, he captures window shutters opening and closing, and then a toilet lid shutting on its own. But it's this umbrella that's truly creepy. The umbrella is simply sitting on the ground, then the ghost hunter pans his camera around the room and back again. But now the umbrella has moved.
Okay.
He captures it on camera moving again. Is the growling demon causing all of this mayhem? This man had better get out while he still has the chance. Take a look at this quick clip of another possible shadow person in someone's basement and tell me if you think it's real. If you think it's computer effects, then please tell me exactly what clued you in. I personally see valid arguments on both sides. Do You Want to Play? Published by King Crimson in January of 2013. This is just one of many experiences of paranormal activity in this house. The YouTuber says that he left his camera in the kitchen to try and capture more of the activity going on in his home, and this is what it caught. The footage shows a child playing with alphabet refrigerator magnets that are randomly arranged on the fridge. As the child moves them around, suddenly the grouped magnets scatter, some of them appearing to fall right off the fridge. The child doesn't know what happened. He runs into the next room, presumably to get an adult. The YouTuber writes, "I don't know what to believe anymore. This is really starting to freak me out. The only way this would be freakier is if the magnet spelt out 666. Don't Pet to Sleeping Seal." Published by New Generation and originally posted on TikTok by a couple of blokes. These Aussies found a leopard seal from Antarctica washed up on a beach in South Australia. Of course, they presumed the seal had passed away. After all, it was lying very still in the sand, undisturbed by their approach. But as the man heads over to pet its back, the seal pops up ready to battle. Who knew a seal could look so much like a T-Rex?
I have officially...
Baring all of its teeth at the man, the seal hops forward a bit but then rests back in the dirt again. The man, on the other hand, jumps a mile. As many in the comments point out, this is the most Australian video ever. YouTuber Jedward Scissorbangs writes, "Australia, touch dangerous animal first, ask questions later. Miss me with that. I think I'm just gonna stay indoors." A woman calls into a show to talk about spiritual possession. She is in the middle of her story when suddenly something grabs hold of her mid-sentence and takes over.
Also,
Did anyone else hear a really deep voice say something at the end of that clip? Anyway, she regains her composure and manages to speak a few more sentences. She says that she has been cursed by somebody who is very powerful, but it is hard to understand her because she is clearly upset. The host is trying to get some more information when suddenly the spirit appears to take over once again.
Who created you and why? Huh? To speak or to go to court? Let me not.
The poor woman's condition just seems to be getting worse and worse as the conversation carries on. Finally, the host sees that there is little reason to continue speaking with her and hangs up.
Also, when people... Bismillah, Bismillah, Bismillah wa salatu wa salam.
What happened to her afterwards is anyone's guess. It's difficult to tell if this video is real without being able to see the caller's face. The full clip is about 7 minutes long, and most of it does not make much sense because of her panic. I guess it could be a fake call, or maybe the caller is on something. Otherwise, I think she could really be possessed. This scary ritual is about to go very wrong. Near Shadow shows us why we should never play with the devil. First, he must submit a drop of vital fluid.
It says a single drop.
Right where your name goes. You could probably just dab it on the paper.
No, it has to drip.
Then he must knock on a door 21 times.
21. Okay. Is that your empty midnight in 30 seconds?
Yep, I'm watching the...
They start to hear some things bubbling up.
It sounds like...
Wow, I got cold chills.
It sounds like wind, but like echoing wind, like...
Yeah.
And the furnace isn't on. There's no heat on.
And it continues.
You hear that? You hear that?
Yeah, I did.
70.
God.
We can only guess what 70 means. While communicating with the spirits, they continue hearing a noise coming from the door, and then it moves.
There's more over here.
Oh, your candle. You're not even gonna take your candle.
What did it just say?
Oh, orange. I have orange candle.
Oh.
And then it really moves.
Making that noise. Holy sh! Babe. Oh my door just opened.
Oh my.
There's no way.
And then it's clearly being moved by something.
There's just such a ringing. Babe. I'm not even playing.
To me, the first couple movements look like they could have been from a draft. That last one, though, that one sold me. If you've lost a loved one, you might sometimes feel that their spirit is still with you. And if you're anything like TikToker E to the R to the ICA, you might find video proof that this is actually true. Erica R 1971 posted this ghostly video to the site writing, "So my security picked this up tonight. My dad passed on November 26th, and I wonder if it's him." The footage shows a ghostly figure pass by, floating casually past the security camera. The figure is white and vapor-like, appearing across the scene from right to left. If Erica is right, and this is in fact her father's spirit, what is he trying to tell her? Does he just want to comfort her by making his presence known? It does not look like CGI to me, so I think this video is 100% real. In Erica's place, would you feel comforted by a ghost? A Reddit user named Never2 shared the following video hoping for some potential answers as to what his mother captured on her driveway security camera late one night. What starts off as a simple piece of home surveillance footage quickly turns into something utterly pulse-pounding, as you will soon see. Wow. So I'm just gonna pause it again once it comes on screen here. We see a couple orbs just kind of flying around, but right here, this sort of ghostly presence starts here, disappears again, completely off screen, but is gonna come back again right here and just kind of float off into the distance. I think what's especially freaky is that part right here where it's almost like the security camera glitches out and you can see it just a bit better once it does, which is just freaky to me. Kind of goes back and forth there and then it's just completely off screen to not be seen again. Just super creepy stuff. The strange figure's appearance on camera alone would be enough for some people to believe this is a paranormal entity, which is very understandable, but then again it could be explained as a camera trick. But as soon as this strange flickering happens off to the left side of the screen, it is certainly hard to pass this off as anything but a ghost. Usually ghost videos are fairly hotly debated, but the comment section on this particular Reddit post seems to be in agreement that something odd was captured on the OP's mom's home surveillance camera. Whatever it is exactly, though, is still uncertain. Do you believe in poltergeists? What if you're confronted with video proof? YouTuber Ethan Thurrock posted poltergeist activity happening in his office across 3 videos. In the first video, the office door closes on its own. Some paper towel moves, along with a computer cable followed by a tape dispenser on the desk. Then the computer monitor starts to blink on and off. The timestamp reads 6/9/2015. In the second video in the same room, a toy car moves across the desk to the very edge. The timestamp reads 6/10/2015. It's hard to tell if the last video is in the same room, as it's from a different camera and perspective, but it's filming while someone is in the office. As she's working on her computer, her coffee mug suddenly moves abruptly, spilling some coffee on her desk right next to her electronics. She jumps up to move everything out of the way. If you weren't a believer before, you'd be hard to explain this series of events. Paranormal explorers Mackie and Amanda are investigating 2 haunted South California estates in this scary video, the Kellogg House and the Meg House. Published in March of 2022, they are in the Kellogg House when something touches Amanda's arm.
Oh, something just touched my arm. What? Something just touched my arm. Really? Super lightly, but I felt it just go like super light.
A moment later, she says it feels like the whole house is shaking. Later, they're sitting in one of the rooms when they hear someone knocking. Mackie also mentions that she heard someone's voice earlier.
Yeah, I did. I thought I heard someone. It sounded like a lady talking out there. Like, it's probably a worker, but I remember Eli said that he's the only one here.
While in the dining room, they hear a beeping noise. It is not coming from one of their paranormal devices. Not long after, they hear footsteps, and then those footsteps sound like they're running right at them.
Anyone's up? No, really, what is that?
I don't know.
Is someone upstairs?
Later, they're in a child's bedroom when one of their paranormal devices picks up an EVP, and then a second one. They speak to the spirits using a spirit box, who tell them that they're present.
So? Yes. What? Here. What room are you in? Here.
Then, when they leave the room, the music box is triggered again. Is something following them around these haunted estates? What does it want from them?
This is the master bedroom right here. This is where they wanted us to come, so... It's still going off. Something's following us in here.
Oh, you're right.
Something just, it was you, it went off, and then it was me, it went off, and then there was...
This isn't a gentle good morning. Published to YouTube by C4CAT in March of 2018. This is what happens when an early bird of a ghost is angry that you're not up yet. The video shows a man asleep in bed as window curtains nearly blow, at times pushing the entire curtain to the side. The young man at first remains undisturbed by this. At one point, when the curtain is brushed over, you can see something white appear behind the bars of the window. Then an obscure flash of white passes close to the camera. Shortly after, there's a slow disturbance in the man's blanket. Part of it lifts until the entire blanket billows up. It's then ripped off of him by an unseen force. Like a bucket of cold water, this is one alarm clock you wouldn't want to wake up to. Images sometimes crop up on Google Maps Street View that are incredibly suspect. This Google capture is a bit more supernatural. Published to YouTube by The Hidden Underbelly 2.0 in August of 2018. This image was captured at Martha Chapel Cemetery in Huntsville, Texas. As one of the country's oldest cemeteries, Martha Chapel was built in the early 19th century. According to travel guide expert Dana Goolsby, the road leading to the cemetery is nicknamed Demon's Road. It earned this nickname from alleged encounters with the spirits that haunt the area. According to Goolsby, visitors to the cemetery sometimes find large handprints on their vehicles. Is something supernatural making its mark? According to the Houston Chronicle, the Google Maps Street View image was uploaded to YouTube in August of 2018, where it started trending. The image shows headstones near a fence line, surrounded by trees. Behind one of these trees hides a ghostly little girl. The grayish tint of her skin gives her a phantom glow as she peers around the corner of the tree. But wait, that's not the only haunting figure in view. Behind the fence line, walking amongst tall tombstones, is a dark cloaked figure. The phantom being definitely looks out of place. Maybe the cloaked figure is seeking this girl. We hope it doesn't find her. Secret rooms are usually viewed as whimsical, but they can also be terrifying. Tati explains that her brother's room had always had a gross smell in it, so the family brought a guy in to check it out. What he found is straight out of the movie Saw. 2 hidden rooms were discovered through the wall of a storage room on the side of their house. 2 rooms that they didn't even know existed. The rooms were linked to her brother's closet. Once they removed the shelves in the closet, they found a loose wall, opened it with a hanger, and discovered this mini door behind it. They opened it to find the 2 rooms. The rooms are quite spacious. Tati claims the floors were covered with dirt and grime and had been soaked in bleach by the guy. What did the previous homeowners have to hide away in these hidden rooms? We'll never know, and maybe we don't want to. YouTube team Rota X Investigaso Paranormal explores this haunting place where something horrible happens. As they walk in, they sense there's someone there.
Tu acha que tem uma pessoa aqui, olha?
As he introduces himself, it sounds like someone runs off into the darkness.
Meu nome é Marco. They get back to their investigation, addressing the spirits. É o espírito que uma vez colocou. Opa, cara. Vamos fazer uma pergunta pra ele. Fala aí, né?
Boa noite. A presença que está aqui é da alguém que partiu, que estava aqui na tragédia?
In one dark and scary room, their device goes off.
Maior. Por isso a equipe Rota X pede licença para estar entrando aqui.
And a second time.
Tá, obrigado pela sua resposta, tá bom?
And then a third time.
Tá, alguém faleceu aqui, né? E você poderia me dizer...
While the readings are interesting, I'm more intrigued by the person they sensed in the building who seemed to escape. This unbelievable capture occurred on a rural road in the middle of the night. Published by Scary Desk in September of 2021, a crew was driving to an unknown location when this happened. The semi-transparent figure appears to fall directly from the sky. It stays in place for a moment before shortly vanishing. Is this a phantom, CGI, or do you have another theory? I guess this just goes to show you never know what you're gonna see when you look up at the sky. On their last walk of the day, Redditor Gaddin420 and his dog heard something chilling in the woods. Listen closely. Let's hear it again. Many in the comments think it's a fox, others think it's a vixen, which according to one Redditor, sounds like someone having their life ended. After listening to recordings of fox screams, I'd have to agree, that is what a fox says. Ghost Club Paranormal is spending the night at a cursed witch's cabin in the middle of the forest, and you better believe that terror unfolds. While attempting to commune with the spirits, they hear them walking overhead.
How many people are here?
Did
you hear that?
The spirit then confirms its presence.
Upstairs. If that was somebody trying to communicate, can you do that again?
When they set up the spirit box, several paranormal devices are triggered.
Oh wait, that light just came on. I just got it.
Are you sitting over by the bar?
Oh, P2.
They question the spirits and are answered.
Did a man die here?
And then the spirits start playing games.
Let's go downstairs again and we'll take this a little faster though.
Hey. You did see that, right?
Did you touch that?
I didn't even touch it.
Are you me right now?
I didn't touch it.
Later, as one of the crew turns on the spirit box, the flashlight dims.
I'm gonna stick this on again real fast.
The spirits are descending.
But we have heard a man.
And they continue to communicate through lights.
What does that matter? Oh. Whoa. Second I put this on night vision, that flashlight just started going like crazy.
And taps.
Was that she that just touched my head?
Tapping again.
Is this the witch trying to get closer to them? Or one of the witch's victims? When you're arguing whether a shirt is red or maroon, the ghosts in your presence will know they've had enough of you two. Published to YouTube in May of 2020, this is what happens when a ghost gets fed up with your bickering, throws up his hands and storms out of the house he's haunting. The uploader explains that during their last visit to this place, they experienced the door slamming but didn't have a chance to record it, so this time they returned to capture it on film. This video is cut down to 3 minutes of the 50 that were recorded. The clip shows the boys arguing whether or not one of their shirts is red before deciding to call it quits with the filming, since it had been nearly an hour. Just then, something clearly slams in the distance. The uploader says his friend thought it was the hinges of the door rather than a ghost, but decides that the video is proof it wasn't the hinges. He also claims that he and a friend saw a shadow person in this building as well. The uploader writes, "Something said that it could have been air in the last upload, but it wasn't sure. The thing, if it was air, it would have opened it. The air is coming from outside, so it would push out to open. Instead, what we caught was a ghost slamming the door the opposite direction of where the air was coming from, so the force of the door slamming was going against the air. This was filmed in Harlingen, Texas, and there wasn't much airflow in the place according to the uploader. The group was sweating from so much stale heat. Well, maybe the ghost was too." Move over, Cujo. This real-life pet cemetery is even scarier than the book. Posted to YouTuber by Adventures with Christian in October of 2018, the uploader provides a bit of historical background to the scene of this haunting video. According to him, this unofficial pet cemetery in Boulder City is the most haunted in the world. Why? He writes, "Many people claim that there are mafia victims secretly buried there, other than the names on the headstones, which may have faded away. There's no record of the animals buried there." The YouTuber visits the pet cemetery at night when it's at its creepiest. At the entrance is a sign noting that pet burials are prohibited there. According to him, the pet cemetery opened in 1931, located 20 miles from Vegas. It's potentially a mobster's paradise. In the 25-minute video, Christian explores the graveyard, looking for all elusive ghosts of animals and people alike. About 20 minutes in, he comes across a dugout grave. You can see the corner corner of a wooden coffin inside. About 22 minutes in, he hears something in the cemetery, although what it is isn't caught on camera.
What in the world? What? Jeez. Oh my god. Oh my god. What in the world? Oh. Okay, that's it. Oh my gosh, that's it. I'm done.
He says he's done and hightails it out of there. The camera then captures a hooded man walking past, right in the line of the flashlight, prompting him to really hurry. It's later revealed that the cameraman was just a character, but that doesn't make this place any less creepy. Currently, pets are laid to rest in this cemetery, including that of the famous film star dog Rin Tin Tin. If you'd like to lay flowers on his grave, this video is a cautionary tale. Don't do it at night. A motorcycle vlog turns paranormal when a man in India goes exploring down a long haunted cemetery road. His dash cam refuses to focus as he rides past the cemetery gates. So strong is the paranormal energy, he thinks he made a big mistake coming down here, and based on what happens next, I'd say he was right. Their lights chance upon a lone figure wearing a dress. There's no reason for anyone to be on foot out here at this hour. No flashlight or any source of light. Minutes away from a haunted cemetery. The figure is not a tree and appears to be stepping first towards and then away from them. I suppose it could be a pedestrian, but like I said, why someone would be roaming this eerie place is anyone's guess. Does this man have an unwanted paranormal roommate? Published in January of 2021, this individual woke up to doors slamming and got up to check it out. The man says this is a frequent occurrence.
My door just slammed again. There's no windows open in the house at all.
As he looks around the house, his roommate, Brad, asks if he's the one slamming the door.
Is that you? No.
He answers in the negative and continues his search, revealing that only he and Brad are home. After a moment, the table in the middle of the living room floor jerks toward him on its own.
You up? It wasn't me, man. I didn't even touch it.
He watches the table for a bit, while Brad seems completely unconcerned and out of it. The cameraman shows that there are no cords around or attached to the table that he could have tripped over. The only cords are to the Nintendo remote controls, but they are in front of the table. So how did this table move so aggressively? There must be spirits abound in this haunted home. A YouTube channel called Salem Ya 3 Alum is demonstrating a high-flying hobby known as acrobatics when some creepy paranormal activity is caught on camera. Caught in the light of his flaming barrel is a mysterious hooded ghostly figure that hovers against the wall of an abandoned house for a few brief scary moments and then disappears. The video looks pretty real to most because the ghost appears to be the same resolution as everything else and its color does not sharply contrast with the video. This video, however creepy, has one thing that looks wrong. Notice how the video fades to black at 11 seconds. This part makes you wonder if this ghost sighting is actually real. What are these bright lights in the sky? The lights start to appear one by one.
On a deux autres encore de nouvelles, là. Qu'est-ce que ça va faire? On ne sait pas, ils sont plus proches, là.
C'est beaucoup plus à gauche. Troisième.
Trois, il y en a trois, tiens, regarde, c'est pas moi qui les invente. Quatre.
C'est en formation, ça, là.
There's no information attached to this video about where it was filmed, but the clip continues for a minute and a half without the lights changing much in position. They do start to shift a little toward the end though.
Je peux pas dire, là, moi je peux pas les grandir plus que ça, là. Mais moi je le sais que ça se rapproche parce que les lumières sont plus, on voit pas sur la vidéo, là, mais les lumières sont plus C'est ça, là.
Ça bouge pas, je vois, avec les vents dehors.
Ouais, ça bouge pas, rien.
Are these lights on singular aircrafts, or are they arranged on one larger aircraft? They appear to me to be individual aircrafts flying in formation, or rather hovering, but apart from unidentified flying objects, I have no clue what they might be. Do you? This intruder can walk through walls. Posted to the r/ghost video subreddit. A scary figure was captured on Redditor Oops friend's surveillance feed at around 1 in the morning. The video shows a dark and empty yard. At first, nothing appears unusual, but watch the back doorway. About 30 seconds in, a pale figure can be seen walking from left to right. You can see it outlined in the dark doorway, but if you look closely, it actually shows up seconds before, appearing semi-transparent as it walks past the exterior wall and turns into the doorway, disappearing inside the house. While some in the comments think a genuine spirit has been captured, others suggest it's a combination of a prowler and a distortion from the cheap night vision camera. Honestly though, either is terrifying. Build it and they will come, but maybe you don't really want them to come after all. Published by Grant Kopech in October of 2020. Something creepy calls this cornfield home. Captured on a Ring camera, a homeowner is seen walking outside at night on the farm, but appears not to notice the enormous creature escaping from the cornfield in the background. As the man walks past, the large blurred figure moves from the cornfield toward a big garage to the left. It disappears behind some shadow in the background. Many in the comments think this is a ghost or an extraterrestrial, while others think it's simply a reflection from the man's jacket, although it very well could be the latter. YouTuber Master of None offers some great advice for the farmer. Don't sleep ever again. If I lived beside that cornfield, I'd have to say I'd be doing the same thing. Imagine glancing at the security camera footage outside your home and catching this. Published by Blah Blah in December of 2021. This scary video is trending in the Arabic-speaking YouTube community. It was apparently posted on Instagram originally. Captured around midnight in August of 2021. Security footage shows a few cars parked outside in a wooded area. The freaky part is the gangly figure contorting itself in the driveway. The figure walks backward and then forward very strangely, its back hunched over and long limbs swinging. The bony figure then flips his hair back and walks toward the camera, arms outstretched. He then turns around looking up toward the sky. It's not clear what he sees there. Maybe he's waiting. Is this a particularly gaunt human having a laugh? Or is this something extra, waiting for the mothership?
There's someone down there.
I'm literally shaking right now. I am on my own right now. Hello?
A YouTuber named Andrew Duffy has a paranormal problem in his basement that literally leaves him shaking with fear.
There's someone in here. Let your presence known. Do something now.
He shakes throughout the entire 10 minutes and 43 seconds of this video without a break, which would take some talent to fake. Here's a good example. When unexplained shadows fall, your only recourse is to search for an answer. Posted to the Chills Narrator subreddit, Sammy Sam 1870 writes, "It was 2:06 a.m. and there was no one walking around, nor were there any cars in sight when this mysterious shadow strolled across my security camera. The following day, I tried to figure out where it could have came from, but found no explanation. The security camera footage shows a black shadow cast upon the ground, moving across the screen. As the Redditor explains, nothing visible in the area is casting the shadow. So do we have a shadow figure on our hands, or is this just a bug caught at a weird angle?" When this woman's ex bewitched her, a powerful seer helped extract her from his spell. YouTuber Alberto Del Arco shares this mysterious video. First, the seer does something sort of magic around the woman.
Completamente en blanco, por favor.
The woman seems to become overwhelmed as the ritual continues.
O sea, con lo que la trabajaron es con lo mismo que lo estoy quitando. Tranquila. Bueno, cuidado. Tranquila, tranquila. Tus manos llévalas hacia ti.
As it progresses, the woman appears to expel something from her. In fact, she seems to be dry heaving.
Tranquila, tranquila. Es normal, es normal, es normal.
Did the seer relieve her of her ex's dark magic? It looks to me that something powerful happened here. It was even made physical. I believe that her ex no longer holds any power over her. Does the spirit of a witch still call this witch's house home? YouTuber Max from Paranormal Point is here to investigate. A Steadicam captures the wardrobe's entire collapse in the next room. It sounds like a dog is hiding somewhere in the room, along with something else. In another room, the candles are lit and a shadow figure drifts past. After performing a ritual, Max reaps his reward. The witch becomes angrier when he addresses her.
Кто ты? Ты можешь показаться? Охренеть.
A little later, this happens. Yeah, I would leave too. I think the witch is here, and she means business. A YouTuber named Victor Poulin suspects that something is wrong with this plane, and I need your help to come to a reasonable conclusion. The plane looks completely normal until approximately 1 minute and 50 seconds into the video, when a bright red tint forms along the edges seen here. The change in color could be from the way the sun hits the aircraft, but that still doesn't explain how the plane seems to break up into multiple parts. Then again, maybe it's just his unsteady camera.
Now see how it almost looks like it changed shape? There's lights all in different places.
Victor Poulin is convinced that the plane is some kind of holograph, but I think it's pretty unlikely, because I've never heard of anything like that before. Still, what do you think the real explanation is? Or do you think his assumption is correct? This live broadcast captures what appears to be an impossible error on camera. Watch the news anchor on the left and see what happens. Here it is again in slow motion in case you missed it. Everything from a hologram to an alien has been proposed, but I guess it could be some kind of camera malfunction. Maybe someone who knows more about cameras can let me know if this is a technical malfunction or not. Mohammed bin Naim has caught a flurry of weird things on camera that I think needs to be more closely examined to see if it's paranormal. He chooses to investigate the slamming door in the room ahead instead of the breaking glass downstairs. It looks like a ghost is slamming the door, but look again. Approximately 29 seconds is when you can see him try to grab the door unseen, but unintentionally showing his hand in the process. He is slamming the door himself, I'm 99% sure. This video, while possibly fake, is important to show because I think it could shed light on the other ghost hunting videos like this. The camera person could be reaching out with their hand and slamming the door. before, but I guess we'll never know for sure. This YouTuber is trapped. The hungry beast shreds his backpack and smells more supplies up this tree. All it needs to do is get through this pesky human first.
Hey there. Down there.
Amazingly, the bear does as told and goes back down upon the hunter's request. I guess seeing a human talk up close like that must have freaked it out because the animal runs away before chancing a look back at the backpack laying on the ground and deciding against it. Of all the weird things I've ever seen caught on camera in the woods, this has to be one of the weirdest and scariest videos ever, because there's no doubt it's absolutely real. Onasio Rojas uses Facebook Live to record himself doing 115 miles per hour on the highway in Providence, Rhode Island, blasting loud music the entire time. He thinks nothing of swerving in and out of traffic, cutting off cars over and over again while going breakneck speeds. His high-speed escapade only lasts about 2 minutes before he cuts into the shoulder and fails to pull off a quick 2-lane change.
Got it, puppy.
What you don't see in the final moments of this video is the garbage truck slamming into him from behind, sending Onasi into the concrete barrier and then into a dead stop in the middle of the road. He survived and was sentenced to 6 months of house arrest, followed by 6 months of probation. Based on this video, tell me if you think he has received a fair sentence. Earl Kirkendall captures a bright light in the sky, but it's not a meteor, lightning, or an unidentified flying device. It's his poor neighbor's house erupting. This video is terrifying because of how calm everything is before, during, and after. There's no warning signs beforehand, and seconds later, you'd never know a family's entire livelihood has gone up in flames. Even scarier, a cause for the incident has yet to be determined, meaning anyone in the neighborhood could be next. We all know dogs can see ghosts, and often they're trying to protect us humans from them. Redditor Spectre Specs Dog did that just one morning. Here's the pup in action. The Redditor notes that the dog kept moving back and forth like he was watching something across the room. The Redditor explains in the comments that they lived here for about a year at this point, and the dog hadn't behaved this way either before or after. They also never had a rodent or bug infestation while there. While I can't say this footage should be taken as foolproof evidence that a ghost is adrift, I tend to believe that animals sense things that we don't, so I'd definitely be suspicious after witnessing this. A Facebook user named Andrea Collins believes one of her security cameras caught a ghost late in the afternoon on March 22nd of this year, and after taking a look at the evidence for myself, I think she's right. Ordinarily, I would say that this is a bug crawling across the camera, except in this case it looks like a little ghost girl with a white dress and long black hair. It's also positioned perfectly in the middle of the screen, exactly where a human would stand, so my bet is that this is an apparition seeking help, or at least some attention. And if this is what Andrea sees in her yard, then chances are her house is haunted too. It's midnight, everyone's asleep, except for this ghost, published by The Haunted One in August 1st of 2020. This short clip shows a thirsty ghost having a nightcap. Watch closely as the bottle on the counter moves ever so slightly on its own. It slides from the middle of the island to the very edge. Is this ghost about to smash some glass, or is he just playing mind games? Either way, I definitely think this place is haunted. Snapchat filters are designed to recognize faces, so what does the app see here in YouTuber Sarah Grab's apartment?
Open your mouth.
Snapchat is recognizing faces all over her home, and they're not there. She later experiments with another filter.
On this side of me. Okay. Don't move.
And another filter.
You see how it does that? It makes you like big blockheaded and stuff. See?
And another one.
It's your mouth as your eyes. So your mouth is where the tan wall is. And there you go. When you open your mouth and do it, see?
And even one more.
So there you go. Wait, do that again. Open your mouth.
This one gets scary.
Okay, so open your mouth again.
The invisible face often appears at this angle against the wall. I feel like it could be misreading those picture frames as eyes and a nose, but others aren't so sure.
Open your mouth. Yep, open your mouth. And again. Open it.
I guess even ghosts like to snap. Is this yet another creepy creature of the forest? Something pale and wide-eyed is playing peekaboo from behind this log. What is this thing? Some in the comments think it's a person wearing a mask, others think it's an opossum, but many think it's an owl, and I have to agree, unless it is, as DeFlaco Napier suggests, a ghost bird. I think I just changed my vote. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, fear can take your breath away. Posted to the Chills Narrator subreddit, Tyler12798 explains that he took this video while he was 12 at his mom's office. Tyler writes, "There were rumors that a ghost named Kevin roamed the place. One day I recorded this. We heard deep moaning coming from a window. Let's see what happened next."
You! Keep open the door! Keep open the door, listen! Okay, now open it! Open! Open!
A wooden door kept slamming and swinging of its own accord. According to Tyler, all the windows were closed when this occurred, so it was unlikely to be an issue of airflow. Some in the comments note that they have never captured the other side of the door on film, so there might have been someone behind opening and shutting it. Tyler claims there was no one. In the comments, Tyler also writes that when he returned from the bathroom, a sticky note on the door read, "Kevin was here." While many insist that outside airflow caused this, we'd like to think it was the Home Alone ghost playing practical jokes. So do you think this has a rational or paranormal explanation? Do you take this ghost bride to be your lawfully wedded wife? I don't. Published by Thiago Ferracao in April of 2022, this ghost hunter encountered a phantom bride that was forcibly married to her husband in this haunted church. This is what happened. As they first enter the church, an unseen force slams the door shut and moves a wooden bench with great force, and then the fun begins. The bride is first seen as they are attempting to communicate with her using a spirit box. Watch the door carefully in the background. A pale figure passes slowly. The pair don't notice it.
Qual era o seu nome?
Later, as they're told to leave, they see the figure face to face. Once they're standing outside the church, the figure is seen standing at the altar. As Thiago walks toward the church doors, they're slammed shut in his face. After watching this scary video, would you say I do? Let me know in the comments. YouTuber 91 South found a demon in their attic and they captured it on video. See if you can spot it.
Creepy bad.
Did you see it? Watch this moment right after he turns the camera away from him. An unexplained red glow brightens up the far end of the attic, and some strange beast appears at the center before the glow dims. It's hard for me to tell at this distance what it is, but I'm not sure how you can explain this light and the figure's appearance. My guess is that it's either a demon or a malfunctioning toy stuck at the far end of the attic. In a frightening Twitter thread, Gregory88 shares a frankly freaky series of posts about an experience in the woods, including a video that has Twitter more than a bit concerned. Greg's thread begins on November 30th, 2018, where he claims to have seen something in the woods. He tweets, even though it might not be super safe to be out alone in the woods, it still feels better than being home all the time. He continues writing that he was walking in some woods that would be pretty if they didn't feel so creepy. Just when he was starting to feel at ease, he came across something strange in a clearing, but he only made it about 30 feet before he ran into something much creepier. He posts a picture of what he found. It appears to be an animal skull of some kind, mounted on a rock within a blackened triangle. Other smaller rocks are placed around the triangle, and on the skull in some sort of ritualistic looking design. Greg writes that he discovered something new in the wilderness every day, but he isn't nearer to comprehending what's going on. He said he felt dizzy as he headed away from the rock towards his home, but again he didn't make it far before he ran into yet another fright, a hooded woman dressed in black hovering at a distance on a hillside looking at nothing. Greg says she didn't see him as he hid behind a tree. Apparently he'd seen her before in these woods, but it had been weeks since his last sighting. After she left the hillside and drifted off into the forest, Greg darted home, fearing the whole while that she'd pop out and confront him. He asks the Twitter sphere if she's a witch. If not, what are these strange ritualistic displays? He also claims the video is proof that his imagination hadn't run wild. At this point, I just want answers, and I feel like I'm getting close to getting them, Greg writes. I'm just scared of what they might be. We're all pretty scared, Greg. We all are. If you've ever had an attic, then you know what it's like to hear any kind of sound emanating from above. Absolutely freaking terrifying. YouTuber Sean Wells 2001 seems to agree, as he decided to investigate the rattling in his attic, which he says only happens at night. Sean writes, Steven, my roommate, says it's the wind because I leave my windows cracked at night for fresh air, but not sure if it's the wind. Sean set up his camera in his closet atop a pile of jeans to catch the rattling while he slept. This is what happened. At around 4 a.m., the attic door starts rattling jarringly. It sounds like someone is trying to get out. You can actually see the door move aggressively and repeatedly. A while later, it happens again, and Sean notes that you can hear his dog whining in the background. Many in the comments think the source of the noise has got to be paranormal. Others consider that it might be a squatter trying to mess with the homeowners. Though different theories abound, most can agree on one thing: it's not the wind. A mysterious shadow creature sighting was recently caught on dashcam in Falmouth, Maine. That's worth further investigation. The all-black shape darts in front of the vehicle in a split second and then it's gone. Seemingly moving faster than any animal should be able to. I'm at a loss as to what could this bizarre sighting possibly be, but I'm guessing it's either a wildcat, a paranormal mist, or something completely different. I wouldn't be surprised if that stretch of road is haunted, so I'll be on the lookout for more shadow figure videos in this area. The next time you gaze up into the serene night sky, you might experience a feeling of panic instead of peace. Posted to the Chills Narrator subreddit by After Performance 2. The Redditor explains that these strange lights were seen in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina last year on July 19th. The lights were grouped in threes, and according to the Redditor, some disappeared before she could capture them on video. The video shows a trio of lights floating overhead in the sky, and a moment later, another trio closer to the horizon off in the distance. The sets of lights don't float in strict formation, but seem to each be wavering at their own pace. They then flicker and disappear. Redditor Professional Truck 3 suggests that these were paper lanterns lit and then launched from the beach, but the 70s Kids negates that, saying if these were lanterns, they'd drift apart. Well, some say the wind is obviously taking the lanterns in the same direction. After Performance 2 theorizes that they're all going to the same destination. Another Redditor, Buster Blevins, chimes in proposing that this is not necessarily a unique occurrence. He wrote, "Last Friday, a bunch of people saw something very similar to this in northern Wisconsin. The lights would appear in groups of 3, and it was as if there was a pattern that looked like the light was traveling in a circle around something." Any other theories as to what these strange lights could be?
You see it?
Yeah. What is that?
William, stop you.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Something strange is in the woods. Nathan Arnold later writes of the unknown creature he's caught on camera. He and his son both saw it and managed to record video evidence for us to look over. Fortunately for their safety, but unfortunate for my analysis, is their distance from the figure. The creepy video was taken far away, so I don't know if this video is a creature, a ghost sighting, or not real at all. The way he and his son both stare in amazement and then run away when the mysterious figure turns in his direction seems like a real enough reaction and not made up. At 26 seconds, it almost looks like somebody wearing a black robe, like a witch or something. The possibilities are endless and none of them are good. The point is, I wouldn't be going back into those woods anytime soon if I were them. It's too scary to handle. A YouTuber named RFam is doing a gym vlog when their punching bag begins moving on its own, slowly at first but gaining momentum over time, so even if she pushed it herself, it should slow down over time and eventually settle down, but that's not what happens at all. She dances for almost 10 minutes and the punching bag sways back and forth the entire time. What I can't understand is how she dances so close and doesn't notice the whole time. I guess she must have really been into her routine. There's no strings attached to the piece of equipment, and aside from this explanation, I can't think of any other way she could have faked it. This medicine ball also starts moving in the exact same way with no one touching it, at least no one that I can see, and no shadows on the wall to indicate someone off camera. Again, I can't believe she walks right by, but I suppose she simply feels comfortable at home and isn't exactly looking for anything out of the ordinary. With a Ouija board in hand, a YouTuber named Contagious Noise takes her girlfriend and her sister to an old barn that's just beyond city limits. They are positive that this barn is very haunted and therefore the perfect place to contact the other side. The group laughs and carries on playfully at first, but it isn't long before the situation grows alarmingly serious. Tell me if it really looks like the pointer is moving all by itself here.
On my grandma, I'm not doing it. Garrett?
I swear on everything. I'm not. Look at my fingers. Are.
Soon they contact the spirit of a 4-year-old who could possibly be named Ryan. They are trying to ask it more questions when out of nowhere it spells out the name Grace, which is the name of one of the girls. The spirit doesn't seem to want to give any real answers. Sometimes the Ouija board simply spells letters at random. Just when they get the feeling that a spirit is messing with them, a random noise confirms their suspicions.
Or ask who the 4-year-old was, why they're here.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Each one of them promises that they are not playing a joke and they decide to try again. This time the Ouija board spells out a single word.
Help.
Say goodbye.
On January 8th, 2005, a professional diver named David Shaw was on an extraction mission to recover a missing individual named Dion Dreyer. David, having won numerous diving records in his career, many of them going great depths into caves, was confident in his abilities to locate this person. He was also with a team to help ensure his further safety. They run a line down the cave to help themselves move along and keep from straying too far and getting lost. There's very little light down here. The line leads to Dion. At 3 minutes, they pass over this deflated dolphin that was on Dion's vessel as a joke. Now it's on the bottom of the sea cave floor. He is walking along the bottom and soon becomes hopelessly tangled in the line. He pulls and pulls, hoping to find a good place to cut, but his movements become slower as his oxygen runs out.
And there he goes, he's moving on again. Now, breathing very hard.
I won't show the end, but sadly he did not make it out of the cave and passed in the darkness next to Dion. Let's never forget his valiant final dive and take a moment to recognize his bravery. It was his 333rd dive. An outdoor restaurant is about to be creepy, and it's all caught on CCTV tape. This top right couple seems to be having an intense conversation. At 10 seconds, there's some chest pounding on both sides. It looks like a bad breakup or something until 25 seconds when he stands up and is ready to storm out, but then points at the food lodged in his throat. They weren't having an argument at all. He was slowly becoming more and more unable to breathe. She starts patting him on the back, but apparently this is a big mistake. I am not giving any medical advice, but the Mayo Clinic says not to do this unless you're trained to deliver a special back blow between the shoulder blades. From what I've read, patting someone on the back can sometimes make the food move further down the windpipe and get even more stuck. A brave restaurant worker gets behind him, makes a fist with one hand slightly above the belly button, grabs his fist and gives a quick upward thrust as if picking him off the ground for a moment. This is called the Heimlich maneuver, and it's a good thing somebody in the restaurant knew it. Most states have laws in place for restaurant staff to have this kind of training, and this scary scenario caught on tape is exactly why. I encourage everyone to get the proper training because you never know when this could happen to someone nearby, maybe even you. There must be no scarier feeling than having an entire crowd watch you helplessly while you can't breathe. This man who helped him is truly a hero. You expect to come across witches at night, but in the broad light of day, somehow that's even scarier. Published in July of 2019, this video purports to show a witch spotted in Mexican ruins. A man is shown exploring the ruins. Little does he know, over his left shoulder, at a short distance glides the shadow shadow of a witch. At first the men are oblivious, but as they turn around and walk back towards the entrance, the figure appears again, this time not lurking in the shadows, but rather in the light of day. The men are aware of its presence this time, and as they start to exclaim, the witch takes flight, up and away, hopefully as far away as humanly possible. The video is certainly blurry, which makes determining what this figure actually is quite difficult. A reminder that you never know what or who is behind you. This short clip will have you looking over your shoulder. The video shows a man entering a small elevator. A ghostly woman enters slightly behind him. You can see her in the mirror, distracted on his phone. The man doesn't seem to notice he has company, but when he turns around, the woman has vanished. He is alone in the lift, or at least appears to be. Those in the comments are dying to know where the phantom stalker went, and whether or not this man made it out of the elevator. I hope he's alright, but it's really not looking like that's the case. This ghost sighting will send chills down your spine. Published to YouTube by TechWorld TV in August of 2014, this video shows a haunted Hindu cremation site. A man arrives at this site in India to investigate a local story. According to the man, he was walking down this dirt road when he saw an entity at this place. The investigator explains that passed away individuals are taken there for their last rites. Nobody lives here, apart from packs of stray dogs. As the man navigates around the puddles on the wet road to approach the ceremonial sites, dogs start barking like crazy at a distance.
In this place.
Then the man shouts that he just saw an entity floating from the building further back. Upon closer inspection of the video, you can see the white vapor the man is talking about. It appears in the darkness under the veranda before floating up and then vanishing. While some point out the vapor moves simultaneously with the camera. One Redditor, Ricky Jaikaran, notes, "I would have said it was a smudge on the camera if the dogs hadn't started to bark at the same time. What do you think? Coincidence or a spirit ascending?" A YouTuber named Johnny B. Good goes ghost investigating at an underground memorial deep in the woods to see if they can uncover any evidence of the paranormal. They notice these rocks are in a strange formation that I think could have been used for some kind of black magic.
These rocks were placed here in a circle once, in this one corner. Why is there a hole right there?
Sure enough, holes are in two corners of the room. Could this be part of the spell? They ask if this place is a portal, and look what their K2 meter does in response.
Is that a gateway to you?
Yeah, okay.
And here's where it goes from creepy to downright sinister. Their UV light detects two blotches of fluid. They could have come from some kind of vein opening ritual that never should have been. Imagine waking up one morning and finding this thing lurking in one of the most intimate areas of your home. That's the reaction of a YouTuber named Stefani Van Tinnen and her mother upon finding a huge rat in their toilet. They start talking about how to get rid of the giant rodent and finally come up with a plan. When coaching it to jump into the bag doesn't work, Stefani grabs a glove and a towel, and with the help of her mother, finally gets it inside of the bag. Her mother runs outside of the house and puts the rat in the front lawn. My question is, do you think you would have had the courage to grab a possibly diseased rat straight from a sewer like they did, or would you have called Animal Control Services? To be honest, I probably would have contacted Animal Control Services. Become a storm chaser or head to the cellar. This homeowner did both when the Cedar Rapids derecho storm blew into his neighborhood. Published to YouTube by E. Hindman in August of 2020. This footage shows a quick as lightning storm roll in, one that devastated Iowa for hundreds of miles around. Hindman said he daringly took some footage of the storm out his window, setting up a camera there before safeguarding himself in the basement. What he captured was half half an hour of one of the most brutal storms you'll ever see. The video shows the storm rile up ferociously, wind and rain whipping through while tree branches roll like tumbleweed down the road. At some point the trees are just being thrown full stop. The sturdy looking pine that stands in Hinman's front yard, which has made it this far, doesn't make it out alive. Its stump breaks clean in half and another larger tree falls across the yard. They are blown away with the others. Hinman writes, the damage in this area of Iowa was like being hit by a 40-mile wide tornado. The storm took 4 lives, cut off power to nearly the entire city, contributed to the record-tying $16 billion worth of weather damage that impacted the US last year, according to the Washington Post. Have you ever watched a clip that terrified you so much that you just had to share it with a friend? That's definitely the case for this video, posted to YouTube by Mysterious Things in February of 2020. The footage purports to show an unknown flying object flying in broad daylight above Quebec City. From far away, the figure in the sky appears to be dressed in white and launching upward. Upon closer, unfocused and wavering inspection, the unknown flying object does indeed look like a human figure dressed in white. At times, its clothing shines luminescent, while the figure spins, launching into the sky. When the camera gets in closer and more focused, the figure looks even more dramatic. It appears to be on fire. If that's not in fact Iron Man, as YouTuber Graham Sherwood suggests in the comments, perhaps it could be a meteor headed towards Earth. While other commenters say this is impressive and looks legit, YouTuber Damien Torres is more skeptical, suggesting it looks like silver helium balloons with the sun reflecting off of it. What do you think? Is this just a mistaken balloon, or do you think this unknown flying object is worthy of some supernatural speculation? Whatever it is, it's terrifying. Who's there? Your worst nightmare. Posted by Deadhead Gillies to the Ghosts subreddit. The Redditor says there's something knocking in the walls, and we don't have to take her word for it because she has video proof. It sounds like someone is knocking insistently at the door, only there's no one there. She says this has continued for 2 months. She's not the only one to have had such an experience. Redditor Ritual Maniac writes in the comments that the same knocking pattern occurred at a house she once lived in, along with other paranormal happenings like voices, doors opening, running, etc. When they moved, everything, including the nightmares and unexplainable bad feelings, all vanished. The Redditor says this knocking wasn't heard initially and just started happening randomly as of late. At one point when her boyfriend lived there, he even heard laughing and whispering. The Redditor said after sending the videos to her grandmother, a pastor was supposed to come and visit, but of course an ongoing event began earlier this year and prevented that. Some in the comments think it's the pipes, others say it's likely a pesky animal, but myself and many others are leaning towards the paranormal. Game of Onions writes, let him in already. Must be cramped in there, but I wouldn't take that advice. Imagine waking up to this unwanted guest rummaging through your stuff. Published by Luke Nelson in October of 2020, this Nest camera captured an unexpected guest in this resident's home in Tahoe City, California at around 2 in the morning. The footage shows a small black bear breaking in through the kitchen window. It then crawls across the counter, sticking its snout into various dishes before easing down to have a gander. The bear pulls stuff off shelves, grabs a bottle in its jaws, and delivers it outside the window, and then heads back to look for more treasure. The thief keeps grabbing items and placing them outside the window, as if preparing for his getaway. He is seen wandering freely around the downstairs, even heading upstairs for a look-see, where he hung out outside the resident's locked locked bedroom door. He was there a total of 4 hours, finally leaving out the window the way he came around 6 a.m. What treasures did he make off with? I'm not sure, but I hope the residents put a lock on that window. The Terror al Extremo crew wanders the abandoned grounds of this haunted witch's house. In the middle of a forest, they hear a shrill shriek. While it could be human, it could also be harmless. It sounds like a bird call, but shortly after, a figure that they capture in a window seems to suggest otherwise. Are the legends true? Is this the witch that's said to haunt this place? I'm starting to think that it wasn't a bird. A creepy goat stands on 2 legs and stares ahead with beady black eyes. Reddit is trying to figure out if this is a statue, or is this a live animal trained to be as scary as possible. Its eyes kind of look expressive here at 9 seconds, and its ears somewhat move here, although that could just as easily be camera movement. Submitted to the Chills Narrator subreddit by Hunting the Haunted, this ghost hunter captured something startling after sitting in the Devil's Chair, which is an urban legend that is likely dated back to ancient folklore. It's a statue of a chair or bench found in graveyards. Let's watch his submission.
Wasn't even planning on stopping by until I seen that it was really close to us. So I figured I'd stop and check it out. Oh, God. Yeah, they said that, he sat in this chair.
I can clearly hear a sad moan. Is something in this graveyard upset with his choice to sit in the Devil's Chair? I think he should leave before things escalate. There's nothing more haunted than something that moves of its own accord, except maybe when it jolts aggressively of its own accord. Submitted to Reddit by Nick4566. This swing in India is not child's play. Nick writes, this was seen in a well-known city of India. The park is closed since a year as a lady took her own life here long back, and the park is not used by children. Watch the swing at the beginning of the clip flinging back and forth on its own. It's a bit unnerving already, but as some in the comments point out, someone might have pushed it before the person began filming. You probably thought that yourself, but watch further. The swing slows halfway through the video only to suddenly jolt back to life. Flinging aggressively back and forth. The leaves in the surrounding trees are barely fluttering, so none of this could be due to wind or nature. It's completely supernatural. Could the spirit of the woman who took her life still be here? And why is she swinging? We may never know. Costa Rica is full of many beautiful sights. Under your pillow is not one of them.
Scorpion on my pillow.
Is it alive?
I'd say it's very much still alive. A gigantic stinger is curled high above at the ready. I don't know if he was sleeping under this terrifying creature all night, but I think he might have been. If so, he's really lucky he never fluffed the pillow. Seriously though, I really want to know what kind of scorpion this is, and how risky this event really was. This video comes from a YouTube channel in Poland called The Slamming Door, which was named after a loud poltergeist who frequents a small home in Europe. The owner of the home eventually sets up cameras in all of the main rooms to capture the highly aggressive spirit in action. Everything looks normal in this bedroom until about 50 seconds into the video, when the poltergeist demands to be acknowledged. It targets a video game collection and sends cases to the floor. This could have been done with a string, but watch again and it does look like an invisible entity swipes everything off the shelf in one smooth motion with their arm. Also, this is a fairly big gaming collection, so if this was fake, you'd think they would knock over something less expensive that they didn't collect or otherwise care about the condition of. This final video is what finally drove them out of the house once and for all. They enter only to find the house has been trashed, and it seems like a spirit is following them around as they explore room to room. They return to the same bedroom in the previous video, and something is in there with them that makes them jump. On the way out, the kitchen light swings wildly, and a chair briefly pulls out on its own. I wish they would have recorded the entire room so we could verify that no one was in there with them, but they were obviously in too much of a hurry to fully document the occurrence. A group of British ghost hunters are walking around the Wilney graveyard in search of paranormal evidence. It's late at night when they apparently find exactly what they are looking for. Pay close attention to the area between the two tombstones or you might miss it.
What the f was that?
The man's flashlight passes over a tall silhouette that makes him pause. It looks like it could have simply been some shadows playing against the wall, but they light up the entire area. And there's no wall to be found. Let me know if you saw the strange shadowy figure and what you think it could have been. A YouTuber named Phoebe Mayhew made a scary face swap video from 2016 that's still an unsolved mystery to this day, and I'm hoping this is the year we can find an answer. So Phoebe makes a joke about having no friends to face swap with, when this invisible presence takes her up on her generous offer to change faces.
Hello, anyone want?
The eerie apparition is apparently above her, and she switches places with something peering in from the highest point of the door. So the only thing in the corner that possibly looks like a face would be the overhead lighting. But when Phoebe tries to recreate the situation, nothing happens.
But it's definitely not the light it was doing it to. Because the light's over there and it's not doing it now.
Like I said, I don't see anything else in that doorway that could have set off the face swap. Do you? It makes me wonder if something tall and creepy was watching her and then vanished. Bejewel TV claims to have recently made contact with the supernatural world during a live stream taken at a haunted graveyard in Indonesia. He lights some incense and then weird things are caught on camera with absolutely no wind blowing.
Allah Akbar.
40 seconds later is when it happens. Paranormal contact.
Ya, ini dia. Halo. Halo. Dia diam aja. Mbak.
I would say this has to be special effects except for one thing. These scary moments were caught on live stream with a live chat that was amazed at the ghost sighting. Even with that said, I still think this video could have been pre-recorded because he never seems to directly address what the chat has to say, nor does he call anybody by their screen name, all of which indicates this video might not be live. The ghost doesn't say anything to him. At 15 minutes and 58 seconds, it reaches out to him shortly before disappearing back to wherever it came from. This could simply be a digital image of somebody superimposed over the video, but I'll wait to see what you have to say before making my final decision on this one. There's spirits abound in this sea of lost souls. YouTuber Franco TV investigates cemeteries around the world, and in this one, he captures clear footage of a spirit.
But still no sign.
This is one of the most convincing full-bodied apparitions I've ever seen. Here's a closer look.
But still no sign. What was that?
And that's not the only creepy thing Franco encounters in this cemetery. What is this hooded figure doing here? And are the two captures related? My theory is that this hooded man is a cult member, drawing up the spirits from their graves. What do you think is happening here? This scary video is, for sure, causing panic among viewers. A YouTuber named GDude26 is absolutely sure that his basement is haunted. He says that something just feels wrong when he is down there, and that he and his mother have both heard footsteps coming from the basement all of the time. Both of them understandably want to know what is going on in their own home, so they set up a motion-activated camera downstairs. This camera will even send a video to his mom's phone as soon as it detects something. That way, they'll know right away. This is what was sent to their phone at 5:13 in the morning shortly thereafter. Look closely, and you'll see a strange streak of light move across the camera multiple times. GDude26 and his family are sure it's paranormal, and I think it could be too. Then again, I guess it could also be a bug or something like that, but my question is, would a small bug be enough to trip the camera? I mean, it doesn't land on the sensor or anything like that. If you know enough about motion sensors to tell me if a bug could set one off just by flying by, then please let me know. Maybe we could get to the bottom of this one together. Is this a poltergeist or faulty wiring? Redditor Raynoke wants to know. Let's see what you think.
So I'm not really sure what's causing this. That's a break room right there. It flickers on and off constantly. There's a lot of motion sensors in these rooms. The office that it's adjacent to.
He captures the activity again.
There it goes off again. It's very random, so leads me to believe that something is going on in there.
This time the light doesn't return for a while. As he walks toward it to check out what's up, it turns on again.
When I walk in here, the lights are going to turn off in here as well. Turn on, I mean.
Is there something in this break room? I'm not sure with this one. Faulty wiring is just as plausible as poltergeist activity. Behind this bed, there used to be a door. Look closely to the left of the lamp here and you'll see the outline where it was painted over. There's just one problem. Apparently something on the other side doesn't understand that this is no longer a passageway. The knocking sounds polite yet urgent, definitely human. It really does sound like someone who believes that they belong in this room and expects to be let in at any moment. It seems like her problem is not going to go away on its own anytime soon. I really wouldn't want to see what's inside of that wall, but it might be the only way to end the problem for good, or maybe make it way worse. Two friends struggled to push a boulder off a cliff when a third stands at the bottom to make sure the action is caught on video. I think they were expecting it to drop straight down or something like that, but they are about to learn that gravity works in mysterious ways. It looks like he's about to get it big time, but at 22 seconds the rock bounces at an angle that's barely to the right of where he's standing. There isn't enough time for him to react, and the fact that he's still alive afterwards is little more than random physics and sheer luck. A YouTube channel called Mux9TV goes exploring some extra scary woods in Pakistan late at night when they find some really creepy stuff that leaves them really freaked out.
कौन हो तुम?
Out of the woods staggers a mysterious figure who refuses to speak for a long time. His eyes look haunting, like he's seen too much in too short a time and has been wandering for days, unable to get it out of his mind. The group does not know how else to help this person, and so they recite some words of faith over him, which works to the extent of scaring him away back to wherever he came from. This doesn't look like a ghost sighting so much as the aftermath of a person who has had a paranormal experience of their own in the forest and has succumbed to madness in the days since. Either way, they're definitely not the type of person you'd want to encounter in the woods, so I bet the group is relieved when he runs away, but at the same time, he could probably use some help. Hopefully he finds peace, but with that scary stare, I don't see how such a thing is going to be possible. An urban exploration channel called Backyard Exploration has caught some scary stuff on video after taking a camera to an abandoned St. Louis mall. These scary moments caught on camera while exploring a dark movie theater in the mall have people wondering if this was a ghost, a glitch, or something else.
Horror movies. Nice.
The colors become scrambled at 9 minutes and 3 seconds, and again 4 seconds later, this time accompanied by an unnatural noise. I think this part was probably edited as a joke because he is looking at horror movie posters shortly before it happens. At least that's what I think. Does this video look paranormal to you? While this isn't an extraterrestrial, it very much looks like something straight out of a sci-fi film published by the Mastercaster in December of 2020. This group just caught a lamprey, an ancient jawless fish with a mouth made of rows of vampire-like teeth.
We just caught a lamprey in the Jordan Creek right now. Look at that dude.
The parasitic fish is native to the northern and western Atlantic Ocean, and its funnel-like mouth sucks on all types of fish prey, including catfish, trout, sturgeon, walleye, and more. This monster was captured in the group's local creek, but lampreys have also been found in the Great Lake region. Many in the comments are familiar with the lamprey, with commenter John Sparks warning, "Be careful, it will latch onto you." Apparently this thing preys on humans too. A YouTuber named Braveburn is by himself checking out an old abandoned house rotting in the forest. Behind a creepy mold-covered door and down some old wooden steps, he finds a basement that looks far from safe. He pokes around downstairs for less than a minute before he finds a false sense of wall that leads to a lonesome hidden room. Soon he comes across a bunch of miscellaneous extension cords tangled together on a broken bench. Why anyone would need that much power to this tiny room is anyone's guess. It's almost like someone was being kept down here, possibly against their will. Braveburn shines a flashlight down a narrow square hole and chances upon a tuft of golden straw-like material. I'm really hoping that this is insulation and not human hair. He quickly leaves without checking, so I guess we'll never find out. When you think you're home alone, and then this happens. Posted to the Ghosts subreddit by Esco Season 95, the Redditor writes, "I was messing around with my dog, just us two are home, and my door did this." The video shows the Redditor playing with her dog's mouth, baring his teeth, when suddenly behind him, the door, which is opened into the bedroom, slowly swings closed before slamming shut. She specifies that her door never closes like this, and there were no doors or windows open to create a draft. While some think there are too many ways to fake videos with closing doors, others don't believe it's faked, but cite air pressure or other circumstances that might have caused this. Dark Lord of Pretzels right. Whether or not it's paranormal doesn't matter, because if I was home alone and that exact scenario happened to me, I'd nope out of there so fast. I feel like most of us would agree with that statement. Renato Garcia claims to have had a paranormal encounter while exploring the house of a witch in Brazil. He finds all these empty bottles carefully arranged in a circle in the middle of the room, possibly for a spell, and then the far door opens all by itself. That's when some really bizarre things are caught on camera, things that are weird but possibly not real.
Victor! Sai.
So the door slams shut by itself, which is creepy, but then he says that the bottles fall over by themselves. However, when you play this part in slow motion, you can clearly see his foot kicking them at 1 minute and 21 seconds. It's hard to see because it's dark, but when you look in slow motion, you can definitely see his shoe. With over 4 million views and nearly 80,000 likes at the time of this video, I just had to give my honest analysis and say I have my doubts about this one. If he really is faking this part, then I have trouble believing the rest of this abandoned house exploration is real. Is this a werewolf, a cryptid, or something else? Redditor Twist of Fate 666 shares this creepy video of a mysterious creature in the darkness. Watch closely and tell me what you think. I think I'd run for the hills if I saw this in my backyard, but Redditors have many different takes. It looks like a demon at this angle, but still others think it's something natural. Is this an elephant or a four-legged stilt Halloween costume, as some Redditors are suggesting? Or, like the uploader thinks, could this be a werewolf? There are so many options that I feel I'm leaving this guessing game with more questions than answers. Something's Watching You. Published by Paranormal Instincts in January of 2022, a girl was walking her dog at night in the woods when she captured something observing her amongst the trees. The video clip shows the girl walking along a dirt path in the darkness. As her camera pans to the side, a tall, gaunt, pale figure dressed in dark clothes is spotted, standing next to a tree watching her. Although she doesn't seem to see it, her dog senses someone there. He stops and looks in the figure's direction on full alert. She has to urge the dog to come along.
Come on. Come on.
When she pans the camera back toward the same tree, the figure is no longer there. They continue on their walk, hopefully without any further encounter. But I imagine after watching this video back, there will be no further midnight walks either. A ghost hunter named Solo Ambush goes exploring an abandoned morgue in the woods full of creepy things. The place has been deserted for years, but the smell of bodies has buried itself into the morgue wall. This table surface must be where they were prepared for burial. On it, he finds a needle to sew whatever shut. He puts it in his pocket, which possibly upsets the spirits because that's when the paranormal activity begins. He puts an object on the table and invites any spirits nearby to make it move.
Ada lagi. Dia sudah mula bunyi.
A defiant spirit moves things behind him instead. When he goes to investigate the noise, he finds nothing, and then he gets an idea.
Okay, let's switch off the light.
A figure in red silently passes across the floor of the haunted, abandoned mortuary with its head down. He runs after it and finds only the stench of decay is left in its wake, nothing else.
Bau busuk lagi.
He says this ghost sighting could be a reflection of light, but he is standing in a dark hallway with the lights off, so I'm not sure I agree with that one. Like many of the previously haunted places he's gone exploring in the past, what he's caught on tape in this building is most likely paranormal and terrifying, and as he leaves, something slams the door closed behind him. The ghost hunter is no longer welcome to go exploring this haunted place. Not that he ever was to begin with. A YouTuber named The Bearded Biologist created a wildlife channel to help people become more appreciative of nature and not be frightened. Let's see how he himself keeps from getting scared when having an encounter that would frighten 99% of most people, no matter how brave they think they are. Barely visible to the untrained eye and easily mistaken as a piece of driftwood is something that would have people screaming and freaking out, but not him. The biologist spots it and wisely turns the other way at 6 seconds. The curious snake makes no similar efforts to avoid him. The biologist seems to keep it distanced and distracted by his paddle, but it's not over yet. The fearless snake follows him for another 10 seconds and then lets him go. I, like you, most likely thought this was definitely a chase, but he says this was not a chase so much as curiosity on the snake's behalf. What he means by this is that it could be much faster and easily catch up to him if it wanted to. He's just being politely escorted out of its territory, which is a characteristic of the cottonmouth snake, aka the water moccasin. Some people say this is a harmless water snake, but he says it's not, and I can back him up on that one. Not that he needs my help because he already has 2 degrees in this field. This write-up from the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department says water moccasins are the only snakes that float with their head above the water. They are also venomous and are responsible for 7% of all snake bites in Texas every year. So even though I applaud the bearded biologist and applaud him for trying to make me less afraid of nature, I ended up doing research because of him and freaking myself out twice as bad. Knowing that this venomous snake is showing him mercy, to me is just another way of saying he's at the mercy of a big snake. Sometimes the more you know, the more terrifying things get. Dennis and Tim of Nerve Paranormal return to the Atkinson Manor to see if there's anything they've missed their first time around. There certainly is something they've missed before, and it definitely does not miss them. They are first greeted by a stuffed animal that I don't think was there before. It looks much less dusty than the steps around it, and therefore was probably put there recently. Nerve Paranormal could have put that there themselves though, so even though it's creepy, it's also easily disproven. Less easy to disprove, however, is when they hear this commotion while holding a spirit box session. It sounds like something runs up the steps moments before the door opens, yet no one is there. When they return downstairs, they find this blue kid's chair, shown briefly at 3 minutes and 50 seconds, is now part of a neatly arranged circle at 17 minutes and 30 seconds. Just as they are wondering how the chairs got this way, they get their answer. This still frame, taken in a flash of his camera at 17 minutes and 44 seconds, shows the chairs 1 second before they pull away. You can see no strings running on the floor whatsoever. I don't see how this is possible unless they put magnets on the bottom of these chairs and slid them across the ground from 1 floor below, which requires 4 different people and a lot of effort. Instead of running away to somewhere safe, they stand their ground, which seems to make the ghost of the manor grow even more displeased. Then again, this object just so happens to be within kicking distance of the cameraman, so maybe he did it himself and then acted surprised. When Tim and Dennis decide to leave a minute later, they hear 4 footsteps and the doors open. This could be a spirit or it could be their friends. I think it could be real considering they eventually chose to escape off the roof and risk falling to get out of there. If you happen upon a site where a sacrificial ritual was performed, run far, far away. YouTube channel, Si Investiga Cazadores de Lendas, was exploring this abandoned place. When they came across just such a sight, they enter a room with lifeless animals and a pentagram on the wall. On the ground is a ponytail of hair and candles. There's a burnt animal skull on the wall.
Tudo aconteceu onde tudo acontece. As coisas apareceram aqui. Foi da última vez também que ele apareceu de ponta cabeça aqui na parede. E
as they're in this creepy room, they hear a noise. Soon their flashlights start to go haywire, and when the light turns back on, a demon has taken hold of one of them.
Minha lanterna quer acender também.
Nossa,
okay. Olha aqui.
Que é isso, velho? Que é isso, cara? Que é isso, velho? Pelo amor de Deus! Que é isso?
Later, they return to the room and see this. Well, it's not clear to me what this demon clown is or what the creature in black wanted from them. One thing is clear, they shouldn't be here. Salem, Massachusetts is considered to be one of the most haunted places in all of the United States due to its lengthy history of hunting witches and the foul spirits they bring. This ghost sighting was posted on Twitter by none other than the mayor of Salem. Eerie is how she describes it. A ghostly face with a furrowed brow and chiseled nose stares back at the mayor with a stern frown. I don't know if this lamppost is of historical significance, but it definitely seems to have become imbued with a spirit of some sort over the years. I doubt the mayor was doing this for attention, since she is already a high-ranking public official and gets enough of that already. If anything, the fact that she is willing to put her political career on the line by claiming that spirits are real shows how much she believes in what she saw. This 2009 video is some of the earliest and most bizarre evidence of the weird and mysterious lights at the Skinwalker Ranch in Utah, which is considered a hotbed of paranormal activity all around. Perfect spheres of lights like this one often are sighted in the sky or sometimes on the ground. Strange lights that have never been explained. The mysterious lights don't look like anything made by a person because they are almost as tall as a tree and extremely wide, much bigger than even the largest of spotlights. This next video, taken by the uploader's brother shortly after spending a day at the Skinwalker Ranch, shows an object moving on its own in their basement.
Swinging for 15 minutes now.
More unexplained lights have been haunting his basement. Did something paranormal follow them home? When ghost hunters are distracted by EVPs, they might be missing the obvious right over their shoulder. Posted to the Chills Narrator subreddit, Alex Paranormal TV explains that when this occurred, they were receiving activity in that area via a K2 meter and spirit. He writes, "Keep in mind we check around to make sure the location is empty before investigation, and this place is in the middle of nowhere." The footage shows one of the investigators trying to communicate with the afterlife through the spirit box. As he asks the spirit and implores him to communicate, the man filming hears a bang. The other ghost hunter turns around to look over his shoulder, completely missing a full-figured shadow that crosses in the room beyond, over his other shoulder. Is this the spirit these investigators are communicating with? If so, he's doing more than speaking. He's come for a visit. The Vancouver Paranormal Society investigates a house whose owner has been complaining of strange activity during late hours. They gather in the living room and decide to address the spirit outright. You can hear 2 taps after they try and get its attention.
I'm going to ask you a series of questions.
They next explain the rules of communication and get no response.
Give me a knock for yes or 2 knocks for no.
That means it actually tapped twice to signify no when they said they were going to ask it a series of questions. Not only did it respond, but it somehow knew what it was going to be asked before they even said the question, as if that wasn't weird enough. As soon as they ask the spirit if it used to live here, they get a visual disturbance in front of the pillow that's in the woman's lap.
Did you used to live here?
Somehow, the team misses all of these signs and declares the house to be uninhabited by spirits. After watching these instances, however, I beg to differ. When you're in the middle of the woods, alone and defenseless, the last thing you want to hear is this. This horrifying sound, according to its uploader, is a cougar mating call, but what it sounds like is a woman shrieking for her life in fear or inexplicable horror, coupled with the moaning horn-like sound of an unknown creature. If you hadn't been told this was a cougar, how would you feel hearing this in the middle of the woods? I mean, maybe it's just more horrifying knowing that it is a cougar, as it might just go for your face. Redditor Eli uses Reddit, shares his opinion, saying, hearing this without thinking it's a cougar would honestly make me blank myself, with many in the thread agreeing with that summatation. Others liken the sound to a woman having her life taken, while some think it sounds like a zombie breakout or a banshee. Further in the thread, however, Redditor The Lil Hedgehog claims that this sound is not in fact a cougar, but rather really is the sound of a woman shrieking from some police body cam footage, which has been dubbed into the video. Does anyone familiar with animal sounds know what a cougar shriek actually sounds like? Whether or not it's a cougar, I'd have to agree that if I heard this noise in the forest, I would surely panic. You often capture more than you bargained for on social media streams. Posted in July of 2019, this video shows a man wandering around an apparently abandoned apartment in the darkness. He seems to be praying, as he shoots video of some window-type compartment up in the right-hand corner of one of the rooms. You can see some stranger peeking through. The man continues to pray, and then suddenly screams in fear as he turns to capture something moving more aggressively in a huge box to his right as he races to get out of there. The door slams behind him. Even outside, he is not safe. He continues to pray while filming the exterior of the home. One of the window shutters up above opens and closes several times. Seems like this home needs more than prayer. It needs an exorcism. If you suffer from arachnophobia, you definitely would want to keep your lights on for this one. What at first looks like your ordinary everyday bramble of twigs amidst some rocks is not what it seems. With a stick, Connor Long, the video's creator, disturbs the nest, the many legs of which start to move. Published in July of 2011, Long came upon this daddy longlegs nest near Santa Barbara in Los Padres National Forest. Long notes that research into this clustering behavior came up short, as it isn't understood why they do this, whether it's for mating or moisture conservation during the hot summer months or some other reason. Whatever the basis for this behavior, one thing's for sure, don't step on this bramble, or you may just pass away of fear. An instructor records himself and his students for a teacher evaluation. He's giving a lecture about safety when some strange activities start to happen.
Out and about, what dangers might we bump into? Stephen, don't do that, please, it's distracting. That's one thing, someone give me another one then. Strangers? Strangers.
I just moved on his own.
Right, what we're going to do, we need to... I tell you what, guys, let's just go out for a minute.
By now, the class is in mild shock as they awkwardly line up and leave. According to the description of this video, later on they would say that they felt a strange static electricity in the air and a tingling sensation in their faces. After they leave, the possible haunting seems to continue for quite some time. Finally, the camera is knocked to the ground by an unseen force and the video ends. Do you have the common care to tame a snake? This shocking footage will make you question your own bravery. The video shows a man grabbing a thick snake with his bare hands. The snake looks around 10 feet long and arches toward the man when he pulls back. As the snake appears to be aggressive, the man holds up one arm. He is apparently trying to grab a hold of the snake close to its head, which he manages to do upon his second attempt. He takes the snake with both hands in a tight grip as it opens its mouth wide, baring its fangs. Then, as if with no care in the world, the man walks the snake over to some other workers, who pick up its tail and are taking photos with the beast. The footage ends there, but judging by this man's professionalism, I think we can safely guess the snake was properly removed to a more secure location. A creepy tunnel creature caught on camera in 2011 remains an unexplained mystery to this day. A service technician is exploring a tunnel via maintenance robot when this creature, whose origins are unknown, suddenly runs by on CCTV video. I did some more investigating and can confirm this particular creature sighting is real. It was originally posted by a water company in the UK called United Utilities. United Utilities has been making professional corporate videos for over 10 years and looks legit as can be. Also, Raynor Street is an actual street in the small English town of Ashton-under-Lyne where they operate, so it all seems to check out. While I can say this video is real, I can't identify exactly what this fleeting figure really is. It moves too fast to be human, yet it walks upright, and the sewer technician thought he saw a tail too, which to be honest I don't see. Anyway, there's only 2 miles of twisting pipe down here with nothing to live on. So is this a haunted tunnel or what? The last thing you would want to encounter when driving on a deserted stretch of road at night is a ghost. Shot in Delhi, Aman Kumar published this video in August of 2018. As you can see, the driver and his passenger have spotted a figure up ahead in their headlights, so they approach slowly and then stop. The figure ahead is moving across the road at a snail's pace. The driver flashes his brights and low lights on and off several times, but this doesn't affect the figure's pace in the slightest. The figure continues to move slowly across the road, and then another figure. The driver keeps flashing his lights on and off, trying to get the figures to move. They seem to have converged in the middle of the road. It's unclear if the ghostly figures start to approach, but the passenger starts to panic. The driver continues to flash his lights on and off, and at the same time backs up a ways. Even after 3 whole minutes, the figures are still there. That's where the footage ends. We don't know if the path ever cleared for these two, but what we do know is you never know when you might meet the afterlife. The best place to see ghosts, cemeteries of course, as these paranormal investigators confirm. They posted this haunted cemetery video in October of 2019 writing, 2 different husband and wife paranormal investigators accompany GOCM 1 week apart to investigate a known haunted cemetery. The 45-minute video includes creepy screaming heard in the darkness as the investigators examine tombstones, as well as random voices heard using an EVP, a child laughing. Some of the ghosts even ask for help to leave.
What the?
A reminder to bring your EVP along the next time you enter the cemetery. That is, if you want to communicate with the afterlife that lies beneath those hollowed grounds. Justin White and his friends sneak into the abandoned LA Zoo, which is supposedly one of the most haunted places in the entire city. It's too dark to see much, but they seem to be followed by strange sounds that are getting progressively closer. By the end of the video, it really does seem as though something is right on them.
Oh my God! Christ! Hear that? Actually hear that?
I felt something on my arm, like I'm not even joking. Okay.
We're leaving. Dunzo.
Oh my God, Dunzo.
Twigs snap underfoot just behind them. It couldn't have been one of them because everybody in the group is standing completely still on camera when it happens. Oh, and there's another piece of evidence that makes me think this zoo really might be haunted. They managed to capture a soft voice on camera that they later enhanced for clarity. It sounds like a girl's voice and she seems to have a clear warning. YouTuber Lomar Mendez and his team investigate a haunted funeral hall in this scary video. In the hall, they find a lift that was used to carry the bodies.
Wait, what? They used to use the bodies to... Whoa.
Literally like a casket-sized lift, you see?
Oh, yeah.
It goes up there, and then...
They also find a casket.
This is what I was talking about. Chelsea's getting some photos, but there's a casket in here. Is it the chairs are still on?
Angelo feels a tug on his backpack.
But it literally felt like I felt as if somebody was grabbing the bottom of my backpack and just like slowly pulling.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh my.
Nearby, they discover a strange collection of stickers.
What?
Stickers of Jesus. And there's a bunch of
It's a little weird.
that. There's these donor cards.
Yeah.
Organ for transplant.
Like a giant pine cone.
Then Chelsea hears something in the other room.
Listen.
What?
Listen, there's like a noise.
Where?
Coming from behind me. Hear that?
When they go to investigate, Angelo feels something touch him again.
Someone touched you?
Like, as if like something like, you know when somebody flicks you like that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's exactly what it felt like.
I don't think it could be that. That's a different feeling, you know?
They ask the spirits who did it.
Can you tell us who touched Angelo? Oh, that said hello.
Dead.
Hello.
Who's here with us right now?
And they eventually find out his name.
Rick. Is your name Rick? Yes or no? Yes.
Yes.
As they get ready to head upstairs, Chelsea hears another noise.
What? You okay? What?
There's a noise.
What did you hear?
It's like a tap on the wall.
Oh. I did just ask for a knock.
Did you?
Yeah.
Back at the coffin, they examine it further, look closely at the Polaroid.
It's like
It's a
photo?
It's a Polaroid, but it's like faded.
Right?
Many YouTubers in the comments see a creepy figure in this picture. Do you see it too? Shortly after, they hear something.
You didn't hear that? It's like a thud above us. I didn't hear that.
We did ask him to follow us.
And later, on the second floor, they find an overhanging lantern swinging on its own.
This is moving. We were all in separate rooms. Do you think it could be the wind?
Is something following the crew around this funeral home? I agree with what Angelo said earlier. You'd almost hope that whatever is stalking them is a spirit, not something alive. This video comes from a YouTuber named Kusun2. He's a college student with an original Xbox that has a very strange and unexplainable problem. Every time he is hanging out by himself, his console likes to turn itself on. This happens so often that Kusun2 decides to record it for evidence. The only problem is that this Xbox appears to be camera shy. He'll stare and stare at it and it won't do a thing. It only seems to turn on when he is doing something else, almost as if it's trying to distract him. Even now as he films his Xbox and explains his story, it refuses to turn on by itself and makes him look like a fool. After talking for about 5 minutes, Kusun2 finally decides to test his theory and leaves the room. The Xbox does nothing for a long time, but then keep in mind that there's no way to turn on an original Xbox remotely, and he always keeps his controller neatly wrapped up on the top of the system, so he can't be using a controller that's out of sight. On top of that, things have been regularly disappearing and reappearing on their own, and now Kusun2 is extremely creeped out about being alone. While in this abandoned house, YouTube team Nerve Paranormal witnesses the paranormal, and the spirits here want to play ball. Watch the blue ball in the bottom left corner.
Yes, bunlar. Слушай,
As they're listening back to a recording, Tim hears something in the darkness. I can definitely hear something moving. It sounds like it's coming from another room. When they later investigate, they hear footsteps behind them. And a light swings overhead. Later, as they're trying to connect with the spirits at the bottom of the stairs, something is thrown at them. Dennis and Tim want answers, but it seems to me like the ghosts just want to play. Would you play with them? I think I'd pass. You're not going to want to open your kitchen cupboard after seeing this. TikToker Haunted TikToker shares this video of a creepy cupboard creature in Brazil.
Já vi isso aí pra filmar. Ó. Tremendo, velho. Tô sozinho em casa aqui, gente. Escutei um barulho aqui no fundo aqui quando eu vi isso aqui, lá debaixo do tanque aqui de lavar roupa. Eu peguei e fechei logo, botei aqui o...
As the guy explains, he heard a strange noise coming from this cupboard and now is holding the creature hostage with a broom. What do you think it could be? Now it's time for the big reveal.
E até que eu pensei que poderia ser um gambá, mas não é não, quer ver, ó? Viu, presta atenção, lá no fundo, lá no fundo, mas tem o pequenininho que tá chorando, tá aqui atrás da porta aqui, ó. Olha aí, ó. Olha aí, ó. Olha isso aí, ó.
It's not just one creature, it's two of them. Some in the comments think they know what they are. While the eyes do look owlish to me, the one on the left looks like it has antennas. In my opinion, this is something extraterrestrial. Number 13, Colorado's 19th century Glendale Stagecoach Station and Inn has seen many a wary traveler pass on through, and now it seems some of their spirits lay their heads here to rest. YouTube team Aiden's Escapades investigates this historic haunted way stop. While using a spirit box, Aiden receives some strange messages. And this. Someone is watching and they need help. A while later, they plead again. Would you help these lost souls? I think it could all be a con, but I'd probably have to try. Number 3, watch the left side of your screen for something creepy. A large figure is bouncing up and down at the side of the road trying to get their attention. What they see when they drive past leaves them creeped out for life. This screenshot taken at exactly 7 seconds shows a weird fish-like head turning one oversized eye towards the camera for a closer look. I was thinking this could be like a company mascot or something, but they aren't standing in front of a business and they aren't holding a sign. Has this car full of friends caught an authentic unknown creature sighting on camera like they claim? I wish they would have driven back around for another look, but I can understand them not wanting to risk it. Tiffany of the YouTube channel called Beauty and the Beastins is making a home vlog when she turns the corner and passes something terrifying that she won't even notice until editing days later.
And 2, he was bringing in like all.
This all black outline looks to be about half her size and barely human. It's facing away, and its bald head is hunched over a wide cloak that extends to the floor. I was thinking this could be a hat rack or something, except it appears to be in the bathroom, and I can see one of its long, gnarled hands poking out of an oversized sleeve. Judging from this video, I think this is either something paranormal or else a home intruder unlike any I have ever seen before. If I saw movement of any kind, I would have no doubt that this was real. Since the figure seems to stand completely still though, I will admit that I have my doubts. But more importantly, what do you think this is? This extraterrestrial sighting in Las Vegas is shocking the internet. Shared by YouTuber Black Collar Project. The guy in the video says he saw a thin creature standing about 8 to 10 feet tall in his backyard. He called his dad, and this is what they captured on camera. Here's a closer look. What is that thing? Some in the comments are believers, while others have their reservations. Script or not, I believe him. You can hear real fear in their voices, and their reaction seems legit. This extraterrestrial is here on a mission, and I hope it's not to destroy us all. The next time you perform for your TikTok audience, make sure only those online are watching. Uploaded by TikToker Spooky Zen and re-uploaded by YouTube channel Kisa Kahidipan. This video is trending in the Indonesian-speaking YouTube community. Keep an eye on the top of the staircase behind the dancer. A creepy head is hanging over the top stair the entire time, but the TikToker only noticed when it moves at the end of the clip. Who or what is watching her? Is it a demon stalker or a live one? I, for one, don't want to find out. Thank you so much for getting me to 50,000 subscribers here on my Clips channel. If you want to support, please press that subscribe button. Let's get to 60,000 subscribers next. Thank you.